So, last we left off, you guys had begun making your way through Barovia after leaving the little village of Barovia itself, the namesake. You found yourselves in Madame Eva's camp, had a unexpected morning visitor, and then eventually made your way to the seemingly much safer town of Valaki. Valaki, while definitely displaying itself as safer, seems to have some strange going-ons here and there, some strange figures wandering, some murmured talk, and some weird festivals that seem to be being planned. You guys achieved your initial mission.
Sorry, I have full noise-canceling headphones on. Okay.
Good. You
Thank you.
completed your first assignment of delivering Irina to the town of Valaki, where she is planning to stay and remain safe. And Ismark, who now owes you guys a favor of some kind, took you guys out to the inn to have a drink, where you met some more interesting figures, got in a scuffle, and then proceeded to have an old friend of one of the parties show up and talk about a missing child, now of which the second that has been heard of in this little cursed valley, which, yeah, seems to be an awful theme thus far. With that, we find ourselves back in the tavern. I don't remember if I said it before, but this is a point in time which you guys may take a short rest. I was also giving the small opportunity to do some minor downtime activity, should there be anything that anyone wants to do before we kind of kick off into the next leg of things. If there's anything you want to look at the town, anything you want to talk to any of the people in here, or anybody else you want to go look for.
Did we already go to the store?
Yes, sell stuff to buy stuff.
Right. I started to look into that and then got distracted by other things, so I will get back to you on that.
And then repeat, creating his own lore.
Yes, and you slowly trying to make yourself a small legend within this already nervous town.
Mm-hmm.
We're in picking fights just to get his ass kicked, but still happy with it.
Hey, whatever works.
And then Sonia promptly getting her ass kicked by Rapide.
Yeah, I'd say she wouldn't have used her second wind or resistance breaker, but she is out of spells. And I did use some hit dice too. How many hit dice can you use in a short rest?
As many as you want, that you just don't come back until a long rest.
Okay.
Well, half come back on, unless you home roll it, only half come back on a long rest.
Only half come back, yeah.
Okay. Then I will. That's how I got my health back up. I was looking over my character sheet. I'm like, what the hell? Did I accidentally hit long rest? I know damn well I used all my healing spells. Or spell slots. Alright, so yeah. I don't know what we were wanting.
I didn't heal myself, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. While I am figuring out the storefront for you, is there anything anybody else would like to do? If not, that is okay. We can come back to it.
I'm restoring a spell slot because I just realized I used Misty Step in the last battle, and I used a spell slot for that when I have the ability to do that for free.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice.
It was a part of my Fey Touched feat.
Right. So, with a short rest, though, you get all your stuff back anyways, right?
No, I only get my one Warlock spell slot back, and
gotcha.
That's it.
Oh, speaking of Fey Touched feat, John, when we actually do level up in a Saturday game, because Jack's been fucking with his head so much to kind of restore the memories, I'm going to take Fey Touched for her.
Okay.
Because it kind of makes sense.
Well, we could talk about that on Saturday's game.
Yeah. Where the fuck did my notes go?
Anyway, so
Yeah.
I have 2 of my total spell slots back. Did I use Hex during our one-on-one fight? I can't remember.
No, you did not have.
I
Okay.
don't think you did.
Because I know I
Uh,
used Shield. I believe I used
Eugene, we're
Healing
picking
Word.
up a fan. We're heavily picking up one of your fans.
Oh,
Or at least
sorry.
I think that's a fan.
Anyway, yeah, I used Armor of Agatha's Shield and Healing Word, I believe. All those used up 3 spell slots. I got 1 back. Oh, I also used Misty Step, so that I thought used up all of my 4 spell slots, but then I got 1 back from resting and 1 back because Misty Step was free unless I used a spell slot for it. Okay. Just making sure I get the right amount of spell slots back, and I'm not cheating anybody.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright. So, I will say I don't think there's actually in the module an official storefront, but that's kind of dumb. It's a town.
Yeah.
So I will say there is a location. I will take us back to the overview as a whole. Head back over to the town of Valaki. So I will use, Gilly, your token's already out there, so I will use your token to indicate. There's a little area down here that kind of curves out and around, gets wider, that is a sort of, you kind of ask around looking for a store, and you actually get the guy that was in the bar, who was the kind of brightly colored elf looking guy, who tells you about the stockyard where he actually has his carnival wagon stored. That seems to be a small hub for trade, and that you might be able to find something there.
Okay.
So
Shopping.
yeah, so you enter. There is this large stockyard. Stockyard has several different sheds that are kind of locked in different places. There is these crazy half, like the facade has been attempted to be made nice, but you can tell they're definitely kind of run down a little bit. These different warehouses. The sign, there is like a nice presentory thing though called the RSX Stockyard. And then within it, you can see parked off to one side, kind of glaringly different from what everything else looks, is definitely Rictavio's carnival wagon, which is very colorful, but you can see the paint starting to peel in places. And in faded letters, you can see Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders painted on the side of it.
Okay.
So, within there...
If I may, is Gilly coming with us, or is she staying hanging out with her friends?
What's Gilly doing? You did have Isolda around, who was probably just going to hang out and drink for a little while.
I mean, as long as she's not gonna head on out without saying goodbye to me, I don't really care. Yeah, I'll come with.
She will tell you, I plan to hang out in town at least until this child's found. If there's a chance to make some coin, I might as well stick around, yeah?
Cool, great. Well, then I'll catch you later. I'll just head on out with everyone else.
Yeah, she gives you a small wave and then returns to her tankard in hand.
Also, D, I'm gonna send you a quick message. If I can find it. Here we go. Message sent.
Checking now. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I will say it doesn't necessarily have it, but you could definitely, with a little bit of time, do that. You could make it. They're fairly just blank, probably a standard mute color of some kind. So.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to, as we're kind of walking to the store, Sonia's going to kind of hesitantly take out one of the blank books that was in the loot, the one that looks the best, and kind of half shuffle towards Gilly and, would you like a flower press book? And she holds one out for it.
Oh. No, I'm good, thanks. I kind of just keep them until they die, and then it's just, it's part of life. That's a good thought, though.
Thank you. I'm going to try to. Well, some of the plants around here are a little unique, and I'm gonna try to collect some myself. One of the books, I thought. Anyway, and then she kind of walks ahead a little bit, but there's like this full-on blush on the back of her neck. She's awkward as fuck.
No, okay.
Meanwhile, Weirn is gonna be looking there for just one thing and one thing only. You already gave him a pouch and a little bit of, was it caltrops or ball bearings? You only found like a little bit of ball bearings, right?
Yeah, it was
Ball
only
bearings.
it was a chunk of ball bearings.
Alright, so I am going to be looking through to see if they have like the full set of ball bearings and caltrops in this area.
Gotcha. So go ahead and whoever is leading this charge, give me an investigation check.
I will go ahead and do that.
My
Probably won't be the best, but I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, if you want to do yours as like a separate
Yeah.
to look for your thing specifically. 19, not bad.
Well, Peter's going to look for anything that's shiny.
I'm
Ooh,
primarily
actually not
looking
bad.
to.
18.
Nice. Okay.
I
So,
see.
with those
Sorry.
pretty combined good rolls, you actually do find someone who is in the market to purchase some new things. Someone also go ahead and give me a persuasion check while you're at it.
I guess I should, since I'm the one with charisma.
Okay.
Wait, Weirn actually has charisma?
I will help.
Weirn is mostly charisma. I think that's his highest stat.
Oh,
I will
wow.
try to help you as your.
That would be an 18.
Nice. Okay. So you can
one
find.
thing you should know about Weirn, he hasn't come into the situation yet, but I have plans for when he tries to intimidate somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway. Just
so you do find somebody who is willing to buy some things. They will not buy everything for full price. But they will get most of the things that you are willing to sell. So what are you looking to sell here? I know you've got a number of things. I'm looking in the party loot.
He's actually going to call Sonia. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say he's going to call Sonia over to do that stuff since he does not understand currency or the counting of it. We've already established this, so he's going to let her handle the selling and stuff.
No real echoey on my end, B.
Huh.
So the 2 blank books worth 25 gold each. Definitely the platinum necklace with the topaz, 750. She's gonna hang on to the 3 rings, simply because she thinks maybe those can be enchanted. Get rid of the gold box, the jewelry box for 75 gold. Also keep the eye patch because she's curious about it, and the 1 gold ring because she's got an idea for potential communication enchantments later, possibly. Oh, and the 3 moth agates worth 10 gold each. So, yeah, let me just copy paste which ones I'm selling. Sorry.
Yeah, please do with their prices attached.
Yeah, that would have been so much easier. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Anything shiny that Repeat would notice? I rolled a 19 for perception.
19. The issue is this area being a stockyard, anything that they've got of value is probably pretty heavily under lock and key. This isn't like an open storefront. You're working with merchants and traders who are storing their goods before they do anything with them.
Well, I mean, bones and wood and anything that looks like it could be chewed on. That would make a good toy for a dog.
You do see around the carnival wagon, you actually do see a couple of discarded bones of some kind.
To be looking through, like if there's a blacksmith's cart, looking at the swords, because I'm still looking for a sword in particular, and see if there's any interesting swords there.
Okay.
I also,
Sorry.
unbeknownst to probably the rest of the group, or something that people know, the carnival cart, and see if he might have, since they're performers, I'm gonna see if he has any books of popular bard songs. Anything along that nature, or if anybody has any books of popular bard songs.
Gotcha. Okay, give me 1 second. We'll do that carnival wagon in 2 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to muting myself because I'm sniffing like a motherfucker.
Okay. So with all of those sold, they will actually give you about 650 gold. You can already tell that is a marked down price, but your good rolls have already indicated just the fact that you could even find someone to sell this to.
Yeah, and I mean, even 650 gold is a lot better than what the other dude was trying to gouge us. So yeah, she gets it.
Cool. So you guys have 650 gold, and all of those things that you just listed gone.
Okay.
All right, so Repeat is going to go and start gathering up the bones. He's going to be sniffing around. Is there anything particular that he might find?
So, since the two of you are going, actually, so you begin to head over to the wagon, and you do see two people kind of standing guard outside the front of it, and then the wagon suddenly like lurches heavily, and they both like spin around and like look at the wagon, and then it doesn't move. They both take a breath, and then they just turn back and cross their arms to go back to like guarding, essentially. So, but if Repeat, you're going for the bones of things you spotted in particular, they're actually around back of the wagon. So
yeah. All right, so well, with the wagon suddenly lurching like that, Repeat is going to get curious and try to figure out what caused that.
yeah, go ahead and give me another perception check.
Okay. 19 on dice plus blah, blah, blah. 4, so 23.
You kind of put it together pretty quickly. There is some type of large animal within this wagon. Also, considering the size of the bones and the fact that there are bones nearby the wagon, probably indicates it's carnivorous. And the quick jump from the guards means they were being careful to make sure that nothing happened. So, yeah, there's something big and probably dangerous within it, but without any sort of direct eye contact on the thing, there's just no way to tell.
Prolonged icon.
Let's see. Is there like a barred window or something like that?
The only thing you see is on top of the wagon is a small hatch. You can kind of see the like latch mechanism poking up over the top.
All right. Repeat is going to summon his echo up on top of the deal and look to see if he can look down into the opening what he assumes might be an opening.
It is closed at the moment. You can see that there's some type of like padlock lock on the top.
Okay. I'm going to roll a wisdom check real quick to see if I do something stupid or if I ignore the potential problem.
The intrusive thoughts.
I'm gonna
I
get over here as I'm gathering up or trying to find my fucking source book so I can actually do some shopping. Sorry.
No
there
worries.
is going to be a clang of metal as Rapide strikes at the padlock.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Oh, there is no stealth about it.
Okay, never mind then.
I mean, he's blatantly trying to break open this shiny padlock.
Jeez, okay.
Lord Almighty.
I kind of hinted to D the possible idea that I have for this.
Oh,
So.
boy.
All right, so
Yeah, go
Well,
ahead
since
and,
that
go ahead
clang
and
was
roll an
fairly
attack.
obvious,
He was not doing any attempt in hiding it, so.
she's gonna, after tucking the gold away and after asking Gillian being told no to if she needed anything, just kind of heavily sigh,
that's a nat 20.
Oh, Jesus.
tuck the gold into her breast pocket, and then walk over to where she heard the clang. Rapide! Yeah, boy!
So, with a nat 20, no need to even roll. The lock snaps right off. You are able to flip open the hatch, should you wish. But as that ping happens, both the guards spin and look up and like, what the fuck is that? And they are both like, there is hesitant confusion because they're both like,
What the fuck is that up there?
what the fuck is that? But also, like, this is the thing we're supposed to guard, maybe? Like, they're not sure what's exactly happening.
Oh, they don't know if Rapide is the thing that's supposed to be in there or not, do they?
They may or may not know what is actually inside.
Oh, shit.
Rapide! Rapide, here, boy!
What do you do?
I mean, he's going to flip open the hatch.
Okay. You flip open the hatch, and immediately there is... Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, this is the echo, so I mean, if it gets hit, it gets hit.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll roll a dex save just to see if
go ahead.
it does actually that.
Go ahead, just to see if... Because that... results may vary on what happens next.
That is a 13.
It's just enough. So the echo pulls back just in time for a claw to slam out on top and then go back in. It's not a very big hatch. It's only maybe about a foot wide, but it's definitely enough for something to reach through. And as the claw of this thing falls back in, you look down and you can see this massive cat-like creature. I don't think anybody here would know what this is anyways, considering its existence. But there's definitely some type of large cat-like creature that is now stalking back and forth in the wagon, looking up at this opening.
Oh my god, is that please tell me that's not a displacer beast.
No.
No.
Okay.
It is a brown furred, like a darker brown furred cat.
I know. I know exactly what it is.
You know what it is, but I don't think any of these characters would have any idea.
Oh, Repeat doesn't either, but he does have a kind of a psychological issue.
Can I make a roll to see if my character might? Because he has wandered all around. He might have even slipped into some other planes of being by accident.
You would have to
Is that we're in follow.
You'd have to get up on the roof of this thing to get a view on it. There is only one little thing. It's the hatch on top.
Okay, never mind. Just saying, when he eventually breaks out and we have to fight him, I want to be able to roll to see if Weird actually knows what this thing is.
Yeah.
Because my chicken is Planeswalker, and if I follow it, I'm just generally going into other places.
Here's what's going to be happening next. Is the hatch big enough for Rapide to slip down in?
How big is Rapide? I guess that's the best question I have to ask.
He's about 5 feet at the shoulder.
That'd be a real tough acrobatics check if you wanted to try.
Oh, if Rapide can't fit in there, then there is a different idea that he has to get in there.
Yeah, no, it's a very tight. It's clearly meant, and you can gather this pretty quickly, since the creature has not tried to attack since, that this is meant for feeding. This is a hatch to drop things in for feed.
Okay, well, then this is what's going to end up happening. Rapide is going to teleport to his echo, looked around directly down to behind the big fuzzball, and summon his echo right behind it, which it's going to immediately try to subdue. He is going to try to dominate this thing in every way possible.
Oh, good God.
And he has plenty of echoes to simply do it. The deafening silence.
I think I muted myself. That's what happened. Yes. Becca's having issues with the recording slightly. Now I sound fine. Okay. I don't know. We're just gonna go with it. It's working now, so.
What is Becca saying in the background?
She's stressing out trying to get this to work, and now it's just fine.
Oh. That's usually how it ends up freaking going.
What is your armor class, Rapide?
Well,
I guess for your echo, I guess.
Would be a 17.
Okay, then it swipes and it's gone.
Yeah, well, Rapide is just going to sit there and keep on summoning the echoes into the cage and whittling it little by little until he's going to be doing single attacks until it is just simply going to submit.
Can you literally just summon the echo repeatedly? Like, there's no limit on that? Jesus.
There is no limit.
That is absurd. I'm going to roll something here.
How long it takes for it to give up? Or just get frustrated and try to break out?
Yeah, that's exactly what I rolled, and I think with its stats, that's what's happening. Oh boy, give me a second.
This is gonna get interesting, guys.
It's gonna get real interesting real fast.
Just as a side note, I'm creating a list of things to buy, so Sonya's just kind of given up since Rapide didn't show up, and it's just like, you'll live or you won't. And I'm looking for horses.
Jesus. Okay. So.
And I'm making my list.
So what happens here is Rapide, I think you do it 2 times maybe. You get your echo down there and it goes blow to blow with your echo, and then the next time you do it, it just is like, nope, I'm done. And immediately hits the door, and it's a wonder this thing didn't
break out sooner.
Sooner. Maybe it just needed the right provoking. And it fully barrels through the door and just completely smashes it open and tumbles to the outside. And you guys see now this very large cat, and what you couldn't really see too well in the actual wagon itself, it's got two massive front teeth, and then it's also covered in armor.
An armored saber-toothed tiger.
Uh-huh.
Oh my good God, Eugene! You gave him excuse me. You gave her the idea.
Nope. This
Nope,
is literally something that I made
this
my
is the thing.
deck in the previous game.
Yeah, this is just the thing.
Is Gilly a visible line to this?
I think all of you are at least aware of what is happening. It depends on how close you decided you were.
Gilly just looks at this happening. She's just like, wow.
Yep, and both Repeat and his Echo are going to be surrounding this thing.
If I may, Tate, was I able to find somebody selling horses?
If you were able to, they're currently not interested, as a large cat has just smashed through a door of a wagon.
Okay, so the reason I'm saying that is because if she is, she's in the process of handing over the gold to buy 4 horses. Sighs, tucks the gold away, whips out her quarterstaff, and starts walking over. Repeat! What the?
I think you were in the beginning stages of a potential conversation, but this happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You guys can also see one of the 2 guards has pulled something out of their pouch at their side and has it up to their mouth.
All right.
But, yeah, so this this actual saber-toothed tiger is just going to look around as you are trying to surround it. And it is just going to disengage and bolt. It is running.
How far away before it ended up bolting?
I mean, it's not long after it tumbles out and takes a moment to survey. It's peeling off and going.
Well, I mean, Repeat literally was getting into combat distance with it.
Yes.
So, does it provoke?
Well, so it's disengaging and then running. So.
Oh, that's right. Disengage prevents attack of opportunity. Damn it!
Yep.
How fast can this thing run?
How fast can you run?
Repeat has a move speed of 40 feet, so taking phase.
You will be able to keep up with it, but you will not be able to gain on it.
Well, I mean, he can literally put his echoes right in front of it.
Right, but this thing may still be
dodging
and weaving and disengaging as it goes. So
yeah, Repeat is just going to chase this thing around town now.
Repeat, go ahead and make an insight check for me.
Okay, insight.
Gilly just shakes her head and she's like, "We're gonna get banned from one of the only 3 towns
That's a
in
15.
this whole fucking place."
What'd you get? Sorry.
15.
You aren't able to determine exactly, but this creature definitely doesn't seem interested in fighting you.
Yeah, I remember what this thing was originally for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know why it's not interested. However, Repeat still wants to try to dominate it.
Not, yeah.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna try to gauge an idea of where this thing is going so I can head it off at the pass.
Most likely it's going to try to run out of town.
Well, I get that, but I'm still the direction it's going, so I can try to, diagonal cut it off.
You say that, and it has begun running into town.
Weirin is still shopping.
Okay.
I am going to shout for. You know what? Fuck it. No. She's gonna. So since it's going into town, she's gonna again try to weave and. What do I need to roll to try to get ahead of this fuck?
If you do not have the speed to do so, you will not be able to.
Even though it's trying to weave through town?
I mean, what's your movement speed?
Well, 30 feet.
It's faster than you.
Okay, so there's no it's going the long way around and I can cut it off sort of situation.
The issue is the arounds are very much longer than the direct path. So
Okay.
yeah, those giant loops on the map are very much further than anything on the main drag.
Yeah.
Tea fucking biscuits.
Well, I mean, Repeat is still going to be trying to chase it down, regardless
Yes,
of.
you can keep up with it because you can
Yeah.
run fast enough to keep up with it, but
Yeah.
there is no
Actually, wait.
outrunning this thing.
Hold on. If Rapide, what's your movement speed?
40 feet.
40 feet, run.
Yep, so he's able to keep up with it.
Dash 40 feet, summon Echo 30 feet ahead, and he might be ahead of it.
That's exactly what I was saying, but it's still going to be dodging around.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but if you're zapping closer or ahead of it, you can jump to your Echo and then physically get closer to it each time.
Well, I mean, he can physically keep up with it. It's just that at this point, it would just be kind of.
No.
Repeat would be. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I don't think you are. I'm not wording this properly, and I'm sorry. I'm talking about herding it. Using this to herd it back into a position where Sonya or the others can help trap it. Because if you're able to zap in front of it and it dodges to the right...
That was actually the exact next thing I was going to say is, since it's dodging the Echo, I can use the Echo to start herding it.
Yes.
Right.
But that was exactly going to be the next thing I was going to say.
If you're going to be attempting this, are you physically trying to hurt this thing?
The entire goal is Repeat is going to try to grapple this thing.
Okay.
He just wants to prove his dominance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's a
So
dog.
he's going to be launching himself to try to land on its back at some point and try to grapple it to the ground and subdue it.
Okay.
Is this thing within 60 feet of me?
It has already bolted from the stockyard.
Okay, never mind.
The chase is on. This is now the second foot chase through Valaki in the last day.
Yep. Sonya is looking annoyed.
Go ahead then and roll me this will be a contested grapple check. It's going to be your athletics versus its athletics or acrobatics.
Okay. That is a 24.
Oof. Okay, so you manage to stop this thing in its tracks. What do you do?
The Echo is going to try to take it down at the knees by, basically kneecapping it. Well,
Okay.
Rapide, the physical body, is going to be on his back trying to wrestle it to the ground and, try to force it into submission.
Yes.
So this is probably going to be a lot of contested.
Yeah, there's going to be a few rolls here. So go ahead and make another athletics check.
That is a dirty 20.
It got a 21, so it manages to... It hasn't gotten out of your grasp, but it doesn't let you bring it to the ground.
Okay.
So...
The next contested?
Go ahead.
Am I able to start catching up?
I think you'll catch up after... not this one, but the next attempt.
This is a 23.
Oh yeah, no. This time you managed to down to the ground.
All right.
And it's struggling, and it's trying to get out of your grasp.
Yeah, now the Echo, since it's down on the ground, is going to be grabbing onto its one of its legs to kind of keep it from being able to try to upright itself, while Repeat himself is trying to force it into submission again some more. He is going to make this thing his minion, his subordinate.
Okay.
All right, next contested. That's a that's a natural 20.
Jesus. Yeah, no. It is. You can tell it's still looking for any chance it can have to bolt, but it is currently, like, still, and it's just waiting.
Let's see.
Fucking damn it! Repeat.
Yes, and you've caught up at this point. Anybody else who was chasing is immediately behind as well.
Yep.
So you're saying I can get this for
Warren just completely ignoring the giant cat that just broke out of its cage.
Completely,
Like-
off on his own.
And he's like, so I can get this, this, and this for what now? I love Warren.
Jesus.
All right, so
What is the plan here?
I'm
uh,
take out 50 feet of some of my rope, grumbling as I walk up. At least you fucking caught it after letting it go, you little shit.
you're going to get a nasty glare from Repeat at the moment. He doesn't want anybody else to interfere.
Well, finish putting it in its place so I can tie it up and take it back.
He's going to make the full intent for this thing to realize that it is going to belong to him now. So, what do I need to roll to try to convey that to
It is.
that it is his now?
You are the alpha.
So what's going to happen here first is I need both of you to make a perception check.
Oh, Lord Almighty, I'm not. It does. Okay,
That's a 19.
hold on. Sitting down. Perception. That is an 18 plus 5. 23.
Okay, one moment. I'm double checking something.
Walking away from laptop again.
Oh, are you
So-
still cooking?
Oh, the sauce came out a little bit thin, so I'm adding more
Oh.
cheese.
Oh, okay.
You guys see slowly approaching the colorful figure from the tavern, Rictavio, who immediately, can I help you?
Well, apparently this little thing got loose and we're trying to catch it.
I see that. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a deception check.
As far as I know, for absolute certainty, I did not see the thing. I did not see him break loose. I have reasonable,
You've got
but
plausible
this is
deniability.
Rapide.
Yes, Rapide needs to make a deception check here. Despite you not being able to talk, body language is still a thing.
yeah, and I'm hoping you can at least count my words as assisting him. Because
So, what is Repeat trying to deceive?
You were trying to deceive in the fact that all you were doing was trying to catch this and return it.
Oh, Repeat isn't making that deception at all.
Okay,
He's-
then
Okay, I'm on my own.
Yeah, he full on is planning to try to make this thing his. There is no. He's dominating this thing. Hold on,
Yes,
I'm getting a phone call.
give me a moment. I need to actually get back to my dice so I can actually roll this. Which die? Molly Mock, don't fuck me. That is a 19 on the die plus 3 for deception, so 22.
he sees through it.
Mm. Well, at the very least, I have reasonable, not what term am I
Yeah.
thinking of?
You have plausible deniability.
Thank you.
Yep.
As far as I know,
So
it broke loose on
Rictavio's
its own.
gaze shifts from you down to Rapide, because he knows he can read it in you that you seem to have decent intentions, but the way that Rapide is currently poised, he's seeing through it.
Okay. And Eugene had to step away for a call. It sounded like so.
Gotcha. No worries. He is simply just going to put his hands out to the side and say, I think I can handle this if you'll just release it for me.
Give me a few to deal with this, lovable shithead! Where the amount of trouble you get into. And that's under her breath.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did I miss?
Octavio has requested that if you will release it, he will deal with it.
I don't think Repeat would release it because he's trying to dominate this thing. He's trying to make it his. So
I need to ask you, since we've been together for a while, and Repeat was specifically put into Sonia's care, what one point I can pinch on Repeat that will make him go,
I don't know if he has one.
there needs, logically speaking, if she's one of the only
Can
ones
she get the
to deal
scruff? Can she get the scruff?
I mean, the one thing that would probably get his attention the most would be, because he's got gills.
That would actually make sense. Okay, they're hidden under the roof. Sonia's gonna move up carefully while you're doing your whole growly dominating thing. Dig her fingers into the scruff of your fur, find and pinch a gill. Get off. Now, Repeat, you're going to get us into trouble.
I mean, that would cause him to tense a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what his actual reaction would be because I haven't thought about this part.
All this time while you guys are doing this, Octavio is slowly approaching. He was a good 30 feet away, and he is slowly moving towards you.
Makes sense.
Can I?
All right. So go ahead.
Because I'm still like where this originally was happening. Can I like look around at the guards in the area and try to like get a feel if they're like inches away from kicking us out or like what's happening there?
You can see them not relaxing, but they have gone into a point where they have actually started to try and repair the door.
Okay, so they're not like mean mugging the obvious new foreigners to the land or anything.
No, they're very confused by this creature who showed up, seemed to provoke the actual creature within, and have done their job and are continuing to just do their job at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Repeat is going to end up releasing the Sabretooth, but he's going to be giving you that look that you do belong to me as he slowly backs away.
Yep. The Sabretooth immediately bolts to its feet, runs to Octavio, and then circles around behind and is like taking a defensive stance next to Octavio, and Octavio just lowers his hand down onto its head.
Damn it.
My apologies
And he just goes,
for the kerfuffle.
Thank you. Mind explaining what happened here?
Well, this one...
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, this one... He has a habit of saying, big, strong thing, ooh, let's fight. And I think he saw that one and decided, let's fight.
He kind of folds his hands in front of himself and goes, There's only one way you would have seen where it was held. So I means to learn that you've been trespassing.
I think, I'm not certain, in all honesty, if he saw or simply smelled. He does have a good sense of smell. But...
I seem to have a report of some strange creature on top of my wagon.
Fade! She kind of grabs him by the scruff again, fingers just inches from the gills. Stop trying to get us into trouble when we're new to the town. Otherwise, no coffee for a week.
Okay, then Repeaters is you're going to have a hold of the echo, and Repeaters is going to slowly walk away. But he is side eyeing the saber tooth.
But is he heading back peaceably toward where we were? Is this him yielding to the threat?
Oh no, he's not yielding to the threat. He's still being a defiant little ass.
Okay.
It's just simply he's putting the domination on hold for the time being, so to speak. He has a feeling he's going to run into this thing again. At least he will probably find some way of running into it again.
She just kind of rubs her face. I swear I understand sometimes why the other gods couldn't put up with him.
You just see Rictavio do a motion with his hand, and the Sabretooth sits next to him. And he goes,
I wish you would listen that well.
Yeah.
He gives a small chuckle and goes, perhaps a little more discipline might do you well.
Considering
Repeat has like this biggest shit-eating grin on his face right now.
She kind of takes a moment and starts counting her fingers. I am now the 27th owner.
That tells me a
Don't
lot.
ask what happened to number 9. Nobody talks about what happened to number 9. We leave that alone. That has been expunged from memory.
Do I need to come up with a backstory of what happened to number 9 now?
Go ahead, but please tell me what the look on Dee's face was when I said that, because again, I am in the kitchen.
I didn't see.
Out of curiosity, Sonia, did you leave money with Weirin?
I think she would have.
Oh no.
I think she would have left you with exactly 10 gold.
Okay.
Hoping that you don't spend it all on accident, but also knowing you need to buy some things, and hoping you don't get completely fucked over.
Understood. Just checking.
So you have 10 gold.
Continue with scene.
Okay. But yeah, she just kind of, but yeah, like I said, don't ask about number 9. That's... Anyway, I do apologize again for that kerfuffle. That, right. I'm not sure what else to say now, to be honest, because that's...
Sorry, I am.
He's very much a troublemaker, so...
I'm more surprised that the colored man didn't get an interest in the fact that, the shark dog took down his saber tooth.
Only that, but Shark Dog
single-handedly.
I don't think he's seen the echo.
He was paying attention, but he had a very specific goal on his mind.
Yeah, get the cat back.
What then? Right, I was trying to buy horses. Is there anything I can do to soothe ruffled feathers at the moment, good sir?
Before Repeat fully leaves, he's going to walk over towards the Sabretooth and drop a hunk of meat right by it and then continue walking.
It doesn't go for it. It stays where it is.
Repeat doesn't care. It's just simply a statement.
I'm going to say this. All of a sudden, you see Bockley just appear and eat the meat.
Chicken just drags it away.
What is?
Oh God! I could actually see Bockley dragging the hunk of meat away.
She looks at. Seriously, where did Weirin find that chicken?
And Bockley just looks at the cat and just makes direct eye contact with it, and just kind of you see its head just creak to the side and then creak again and then creak impossibly down. And then return back to dragging the chicken away. Or dragging the piece of meat away.
Rictavio definitely watches it for a second, but doesn't like fully take his eyes off of Sonia because they're in mid-conversation. He just kind of is watching it out of his peripheral. Just like you see the slightest quirk of a head, but nothing else really to give away what is going on with him.
I could probably guess what's going through his head is, what kind of circus freaks did I run into in this town?
That's very interesting because yes, he is a circus man or carnival
Exactly.
man.
That's what I was hinting at. Is he ran into people that were freakier than his circus?
Yeah.
That you know of.
Yes, that we know of.
I am.
He just kind of crosses his fingers again or folds them in front of him again and just goes, "You've intrigued me this day. We'll call it even as long as you don't attempt it again."
I can try to control him, but you've seen how my luck. I'll try. Honestly, given your success with that creature, do you have any suggestions on how to? Obviously, since you saw the nifty little trick there he did, jumping places, I can't leash him. I tried.
It's like I said, a little more discipline might do you some good. Just work with it. There's only one thing you can do is time.
I am very curious on what his idea on discipline would be.
Yes, she raises a brow and is just like, right, but I'm asking you, tips as far as discipline, like what measures do you usually take?
He gives a small shrug and says, "Depends on the creature."
There, the only thing that's really gotten to him is through his stomach and coffee.
Strange, secondary choice, but if it works.
In either case, I was looking to buy horses. Right, I need them. She moves over to catch up to Repeat. Thank you again! And then very firmly scruffs him. Repeat, just look at me, please.
Echo again. And he just kind of walks away, continuing. he is mad that he is basically pouting because his domination attempt has been interrupted by two separate sources. So he is annoyed, so to speak, but he's not lashing out at anyone. He just simply, I'm not talking to you. I am not looking at you. If I'm not looking at you, you can't see me.
And she's kind of moving behind him. It's just like, Repeat, honestly, we're new to town. Doing things like this is going to get us kicked out. We don't want to do that when apparently, from what Gilly said, this is one of three towns that could be considered safe in this place. Plus, we need to go ahead and look into the missing children. And what happens if we're in jail because you decided to act up? Oh, right, the children could die. Do you want that to happen, dear?
It is at that moment you remember that you were supposed to go to the little village to the south and find out what's going on with that.
Right, that's why I was going to get horses, so we could have a little bit faster travel there and back. But I'm looking at Repeat now. Do you want the kids to die? Because I was about to buy horses for the others.
You definitely get kind of a side glance from him. And you know the answer to that is he is the idea of even the hinting that it would be his fault that they died is vexing to him.
Yeah. She'll move a little closer, not actually grabbing him, but kind of lean down. If we get locked up, that's a chance that those kids don't have. Remember? So stop with the antics for the time being. After the kids are safe, if we can manage to save the kids, then you can have your fun. And maybe I can even arrange with the kind gentleman that's a friendly little thing between you and his cat. We need to stop with the antics. and
I
we
have
need
a
to be
very
serious.
curious question on this. How would you lock up Rapide?
At this
You'd have
point,
to do
Sonia
it
doesn't know.
non-visual. Yeah,
Live
you'd
in
have to
a
do.
cage
Ye-
that's wide enough that he can't summon an echo.
That and something he can't see out of. Because at this point,
Yeah,
Sonia is still getting used to the fact that he has an echo. He didn't have this ability until we came here.
this is true.
Stuff since you got
So
here.
she's she's a little bit flabbergasted on how to deal with it.
Yeah,
So-
but I mean, the real question is, guards wouldn't be able to figure out directly on how he does his thing.
Indeed.
They'd have to do a lot of surveilling of him to figure out how his powers actually work.
And she's trying to puzzle it out at this point too, to kind of figure out, how do I stop him? How do I leash him? What do I do? I mean, the closest thing she's coming up with at this point in her thoughts is blinders. Should I buy blinders? Maybe I should buy blinders. But she's not voicing that yet.
Are you guys heading back towards the stockyard?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I need to buy horses. Okay.
So you get this awkward moment of when you say good day or goodbye to somebody, and you like start going the same way.
Oh, that awkward
Right.
moment of going to the same destination after you say goodbye.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, since we're going the same direction, she's going to hang back, giving Rapide more time to think on what she said, and she's going to lean over to him. I just realized something. Do you have any blinders?
You're not even aware that his powers are based on visual.
I don't. I really don't. She's going to be trying various things. Obviously, the rope didn't work, but the next thing she can think of is sight or hearing or anything. I mean, really, the only thing she can think of is potentially sight. She doesn't know how it works.
Rictavio just motions down to his tooth cat, and just is just motioning down and goes, "A good one doesn't need it."
Training, maybe training him. I don't know. I don't know how. He didn't have this ability when we were back in our home world. This is new, and I'm very discombobulated by the fact that it's a thing.
Well, Barovia is a strange place after all, is it not?
I'm
People
learning that
seem
the
to learn
hard
a
way.
lot. Yes, people seem to learn a lot about themselves here.
This is entirely bizarre, and I mean, the city would have been a good place to visit various magicians back home. But again, this may very well be strictly because of Barovia. I don't know.
He just gives another shrug, and they begin to carry on.
Right.
So
Going
back at
to
the
horse merchant.
back at the stockyard, go ahead for me, Weirin. You've been shopping around a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a. I want to just say general charisma check.
Okay. That is a 13.
Okay. So you do find what is it you're specifically looking for?
Specifically, I was looking for a bag of ball bearings and a bag of caltrops.
Okay.
And a book on bard songs.
A book on bard songs. You ask about the bard songs, and they actually the person you're talking to says, no, I don't have anything like that, but there seems to be passing bards in the tavern all the time. Perhaps you find your way back there, and they might have something. As for the other things, with the knowledge that Weirin is not great with currency, what does he attempt to offer for these items?
Well, first he asks how much they are.
So I'm actually double checking. So, it is a gold for 1,000 ball bearings, and it is a gold for 20 caltrops.
He'll ask them. If they say it's 1 gold and 1 gold, he'll pass over 2 gold because he knows how to count. He just doesn't know the meaning of currency, and all he has on him is 2 gold. All he has on him is gold coins.
Fair enough. So you get a successful transaction. These were small and high enough quantity manufactured thing that the price was not upscaled too much or anything. So
Okay.
yep. So for 2 gold, you get yourself a bag of 20 caltrops and a bag of 1,000 ball bearings on top of whatever.
I take
amount
out
of
the
ball bearings.
pouch. I take out the pouch that I was given, the empty pouch that I was given. Take the ball bearings and the caltrops. Sit down like cross-legged, just in the middle of the ground, and proceed to pour them both into the same bag.
Wonderful. Okay. The merchant
Okay.
looks on in slight horror, and then just nods and turns back to his business, just like, I was paid for these, I'm not going to question.
I'm
have
afraid to
loads of
find out
gold
what
like
happens
this.
I have a feeling we're going to have to roll anytime you want to throw some of those. Maybe accidentally prick yourself on one of the counters.
I may prick them, but the goal is when I throw them out to make people slip and fall onto spiked objects.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. Oh, I'm here for it. All right.
I had a
Sorry.
feeling that was the case, and so I was like, I wonder what is going to happen when he actually uses that on someone. Because someone's going to get a sharp object up the butt.
Oh.
Yeah, I just had. I also, he's not strong, but he knows his friends are strong, and he's just thinking, this might be interesting to have my friends throw people into.
There you go.
So.
Typically, I will say, the jacks only do 1 piercing damage, but if we're purposely doing something to make them fall onto and like get thrown onto, oh yeah, there's going to be more damage involved.
Alright.
There's no way, shape, or form that's not going to do more to somebody.
I just like the idea of causing my enemies to fall prone, not just prone, but to take damage from
yes, I'm
going prone.
100% here for it.
I'm gonna look to see if they have any flasks of oil.
Flasks of oil?
Yep.
I would say they probably do, considering they have to fuel their lanterns somehow.
Because I know that if I hit somebody in the right place, they set on fire. What if I hit somebody in the right place while they're currently covered in oil?
So here's the thing, you ask that same merchant again, and he just goes, that would only be a silver.
I hand him a gold.
You hand him a gold, and he takes it, and he pauses for a second. I'm gonna roll.
Like, okay, can I do something right quick? Can I do something right quick?
Go ahead.
So I fully hand him the gold, take the flask of oil, and walk away.
So what I was gonna say is he holds it for a second, and I rolled for him, and he turns and goes like a little bit further in, and actually comes back with 2.
Does he call me back to the, or did I give him the gold and not receive the product yet?
You have not received the product yet. He's like, okay, let me 1 second.
He comes back with it with the 2. I'm like, I just look at them confused. I'm like, but I paid. Is this a buy one get one free type thing?
Sure.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually an honest merchant.
No, because
No.
they cost 1 silver, and he paid a gold. He should be getting
Which-
10 of these.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
But I rolled an insight for him, and he rolled a 3, so he didn't gather that Weirin was bad at money. He just went, sure, and just was like, cool, throw in another, just because it
Alright.
was like a tip or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
And Weirin doesn't know to question it. Like I said,
Yep.
you give me only 1 coin, only coins of 1 value, I'm going to pay
In that
merchants
value.
coins of 1 value.
Yeah?
Until somebody gives me coins of different values, in which it will be a roll to see which coins I actually pull out.
Weirin is of my own philosophy in which I hate other currencies in D&D anyways, so... Great.
Oh, I can't wait for somebody to actually pay me with Electrum or something, so I could.
God. Electrum is such a bullshit currency, let's be real.
That
It
is why the only time it's come up in my campaign, it was come up as like a Bitcoin strategy by a shyster dragon.
Yep.
It was that
Dumb.
brass one that was in the water, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
he wasn't brass, but I don't think he was brass. I think he might have been bronze or something. But he was in
Yeah.
the water of Waterdeep, just be like, cut my own throat.
Yeah.
Something. Because he's like, I'm taking a deal here. It's really cut my own throat if I do say so myself. But what you get?
Jeez. Anyways, alright, what other shopping are we doing here? I know we had...
Knows. Oh, right. You said the Bard book was going to be sourced out. Okay.
Yes, you would have to potentially ask around at the tavern is the more likely place that you would find
Alright.
something.
But I'm going to add the flask of oil and the
2 flasks of oil and the mixed bag of ball bearings and caltrops.
The
the ball drops.
The ball drops. Jesus.
Gilly, after assessing that we're not an immediate threat of being kicked out of the town, she's gonna wander around and look for probably a blacksmith if they have one anywhere.
Okay.
Even some sort of scrapyard looking situation.
I mean, you're in it.
Oh,
If there's a scrapyard of any kind, it's gonna be this stockyard of stuff.
She's specifically looking for just a vast array of scrap metal. So anyone who looks like they might be selling that or might just have that she can buy from, she's gonna walk up.
Let me see. What would be... Let me double check something.
While you're searching, by the way, for items, can you also search for the price of a +1 shield? And Repeat is asking about swords.
I will say right now, you would be hard-pressed to find a +1 shield in Vallaki.
Like, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find any magical stuff.
Yeah, magic items are going to be... You get the feeling, just from the people you've seen wandering around and stuff, they already don't have a lot, and if someone does have it, they're not showing it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's dangerous.
Basically, any magic stuff would be probably black market type scenario. Of you got to know a person to know that knows a person that knows a person.
Yeah, it's either incredibly rare already, or people are being very secretive about it. So.
Well, I can easily pick out dens of criminal activity in a community with Watcher's Eye. It could go to the black market.
So, in your time spent here,
running through the city after Repeat.
go ahead and just give me just a general insight check.
Insight. All right, so that is a 14 on the die. What is my insight? Oh, it is a 15. 19.
Just from your time in town here, it doesn't really seem... Because you've been seeing people wander the streets and do their, like we saw last time, the interactions, which are very almost force positive kind of interactions. You can definitely tell there isn't much of a... And this isn't a big town by any means. It's bigger than the little village of Barovia, but it is not a big town by any means. there is either not enough going on here monetarily, or there are not the type of people here for some type of intense criminal underbelly. You do get a tiny hint of it from the people that run the inn, but that also is just the sheer fact of, like, innkeepers seem to always just know shit. Like, they're the hub of town, so if there's any secrets or stuff that are traveling through, there's a good chance the inn knows about it, the tavern. So that's the closest to any sort of, like, criminal underbelly you've seen here.
So it's like playing Skyrim.
Kind of.
Anytime you're looking for side quests, just ask an innkeeper.
Honestly, sometimes, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, and for me it was herbalism kit, poisoner's kit, and 4 riding horses, which total would be 355 gold, if it's not backed up.
Right. So you would be asking around to the different merchants and people that are within the stockyard. You actually would be hard-pressed to find any riding horses. They all seem to have ones to pull carts and work horses.
Pack horses, yeah.
Yeah, they've got the mules essentially of the society to pull stuff, but they don't necessarily have, like, riding horses here. That doesn't seem to be a thing. You kind of also can gather from your introduction to Barovia, an unguarded horse in the wilderness is probably a dead horse. So the chances of them surviving out in the wilds are slim, and so how often are they traveling?
That's fair. At this point, she's just wanting to get primarily a faster trip to and from the southern camp. So let me look at the book for cost of a draft horse and a cart. I'm going to be a few.
Or you could just simply get a cart and have Repeat pull it.
I also don't think a cart would necessarily be faster. You would be able to carry more with you, but I don't think it would be faster.
Probably not.
Probably. No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking if we're looking for somebody to carry the cart, I mean, we don't fully know Bockley's strength.
Yeah, no, okay.
Oh god, could you imagine Bockley having the ability to pull a full-on cart? That would be amusing.
We'll see what this terror chicken is able to do eventually.
Yeah.
So with the cart, a draft horse is only 40 feet. Some of us can pretty much move that.
Yeah, so and if you're moving as a group, you have to move as fast as your slowest anyway. So, like, it's not really, probably in the long run, not good, because you're A, making yourself a bigger target, and B, not really gaining any speed anyways.
Yeah, that's... Never mind then. So, any healing potions?
It's a good thought, but...
Because that would only drop me down to 55 gold.
You go ahead and make another investigation check for me.
That's my best stuff. That is a 12 on the die. Investigation is a 5, so 17.
17, okay. Let me double check something here. You find a singular healing potion available, but it is double the normal price, so you would have to pay 100 gold for this one healing potion.
Yeah, one healing potion could potentially save somebody's life, so that's 155 gold spent.
There you go.
Alright, let me add the healing potion to group loot. So healing potion is in group loot, and I'm adding the other items to mine because that's for Sonia.
As for Gilly, your search, you do actually come across not a blacksmith, but someone who is dealing more in... Probably someone who would work with a blacksmith. Probably someone who is a supplier of some kind. Who you can see is In the process of loading, several people are helping load a cart full of like scrapped weapons, crappy old ones that have either been broken in battle or have rusted and fallen apart over the years. General, just not usable, but maybe good for melting down and resmelting.
Cool. So I'm gonna walk up. I'm just gonna say like, "Oh hey, hi. How are you doing? Hi."
And one of them kind of looks up at you and then like turns and motions, and another guy walks up who's dressed just the tiniest bit nicer than the rest of them. They all look pretty rugged and worn, but one of them is just the teeniest bit nicer. And he kind of folds his hand and goes, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?"
Hi. Hey, listen. Firstly, obviously, I'm not from here. Do you take regular gold currency or do you just take the Strahd shit? Because I don't have any of the Strahd shit.
And he kind of thinks for a second. He goes, "In the right hands, it's actually potentially more valuable. So, what can I do for you?"
Cool. So I need some metal. It's a long ass shot in the dark. If you got any tungsten, that'd be great. Really, I just need like iron, steel, if you got it. I have 15 to offer you, and I literally don't care about haggling. Like, just anything.
And he kind of looks at you, and glances at your weapon,
Yeah,
which you
I-
visibly carry
Yeah,
out.
I see he's looking at it. I spin it out and I set it on the ground and just like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a builder.
I see. Well, I don't think we have any rare materials of any kind. Unfortunately,
Understandable.
we're
Yeah, no, I get it.
dealing with the scraps of, yeah. But I'd be willing to part with some material. How much material are you looking for? We've got. And he kind of just motions behind you. You can see a few barrels of just like bits of metal poking out, and
Ah, shit. Okay. Like I said, I only got 15 gold on me, so as much as that can get me, like, I'm pretty tough. I can carry a bunch, but you know, it's whatever.
and I'm trying to think of the logistics of this, because to do any sort of meaningful melting down and smelting would require a lot of burning away of impurities. So how much do you need to then melt down for whatever your project is going to be is the question.
Probably because the core of the metal, if these were already weapons, was probably at least 50% smelted and not like smelted, but like clean of impurities.
Yes.
So I could probably get away with doing my shit for maybe 3 or 4 swords. And
Okay.
then anything extra.
He will dig through. How much gold did you offer him?
15.
15. He will go through and he will actually dig out. You see him and a couple of the others. He kind of snaps his fingers, and they all start picking through some of the bits. They actually go and pull through and find some of the more intact ones,
Nice.
and some of the, while not rust, some of them a little bit of rust on it. There's only so much you can do if they've been sitting around for a while. But they go through and they find about 4 or 5 good swords. It's like 4.5 because there's like part of a blade missing, but the rest of the material is in really decent condition. And they say, and go ahead and make a persuasion check for me.
Oh boy, I'm real good at those. Okay, it's 17 minus 1, so 16.
Is
Yeah,
Weirin still nearby to where he could probably help with this?
This was probably during, because, like...
There was a lot happening, and you two did not chase, so...
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
You are currently on the ground mixing ball bearings and caltrops together while she's making this deal.
Making everybody weirded out at what they're seeing in front of them.
Yes, a couple of them are looking over Gilly's shoulder like, okay. That's a pretty decent roll, actually. They will give you those for 10 gold.
Oh, dope. Cool. All right. Hey, thanks. If I need more, like, where do you hang out? Like, do you have a store or something?
There's a more official blood keep in Kresik, actually.
Okay.
We're about to head that way.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks. Pleasure doing business with you, and I give him an extra gold, so I only have 4 left.
So he takes it and he gives a small bow of his head. And, oh, thank you for your patronage.
Yeah, hey. Have a
And
safe travel. And I turn around and just start walking somewhere. I don't know where.
You turn around, and at this point, you guys see Rictavio and the Sabretooth kind of enter at this point. And the Sabretooth is, like, at his side. It is not further ahead. It's not behind him in the slightest. It is right in line with him. Clearly a very well-trained creature of this kind, although a very strong one at that.
Oh, hey, you found my friend. She waves at Rictavio.
He just gives you a nod and, like, that makes sense. They would be here. Like, and they head back to his wagon, and he directs the cat to get back into the wagon and then helps start continuing repairs.
I did almost forget blinders that I can modify to fit Rapide, potentially. Like, it's just, she doesn't know how it works. It's just a half thought. She doesn't know if she can jury rig anything. But if there are horse blinders, she's buying a pair. And then just kind of, I don't even know if this is going to work, but
I would say you probably have to ask around a little bit. They give you, like, they're not going to give up if they have them for their own horses. They're not going to give theirs up. But you can see that one of them has an older set that are definitely not of new condition, and will give it to you for like 2 silver.
Okay, that works. I'm out of silver.
Question is, will Rapide use them? You know. That's the whole thing. That's the challenge. The challenge is not getting them. The challenge is actually using them.
The challenge is getting them on him and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
If anything. Again, she doesn't know. And she is going to spend some time muttering at him. Doing that. Seriously. Is that something from your species? Is that... it? And you're just staring off, aren't you? You're still upset.
Repeat is not even looking at Sonia at the moment. He's not even looking at the rest of the group at the moment. He's actually looking off in the distance at something specific. He's looking at the guards on the towers.
She looks, immediately grabs some scruff. No, we're going south. It's time to go, everyone. We're going to go see if we can get some information from the people at the south. Come on.
Alrighty, and if nobody has any opposing to that, we will begin to head down to the camp that is down below. I'm just going to make sure the dynamic lighting is off because we don't need it for this. There we go. So you guys find yourself coming up to a short trek through some of the southern woods. They're a little bit thinner because they're nearby town. But you come across, and if you look at the bottom of the image, you can actually see the actual, like, walking up to it appearance. It is this large kind of hill that has several of these little... It looks like it would be semi-temporary, but you can see there's some structure, and it's kind of inlaid into the hill, and this seems to be a more permanent camp, if you will. It looks like a camp, but it has definitely been here for much longer than it would have been otherwise. You see tons of horses that are strewn about up on the top of the hill. And then there are several people that are kind of wandering around, but the camp actually seems a little bit barren, actually. There's not a whole lot. Like, there's people moving around, but there's not a ton of activity. Yes. So, and then you can see that they've got a circle of wagons kind of around the central camp at the top of the hill. So, and as you approach, no one seems to immediately, like, come to you. They just kind of, like, you can see, because you guys would be entering from the northern road, you can see out front of at least the two houses in front, you can already see a couple of people just kind of standing out. But what's interesting is these are dusk elves. You can already see the longer elven ears, but their skin and their hair is a much darker shade, varying shades of black or gray, and then their hair is always like a darker color. These are definitely not just elves. They are definitely of a dusk elf lineage. And you can see they kind of watch you as you enter, but they don't leave their various posts unless you approach them.
I'll kind of move closer to one of them. Hello there. We heard that there's a missing child. We wanted to see if we could try to offer some assistance.
He just gives a nod and motions up to the tent and says, "Talk to them." And then,
My gratitude. Thank you.
and then he just kind of watches you guys walk, like he's giving you a very untrusting eye, like, you're new, you're different. You seem to have good intention based on what you just asked, but we'll see.
And given the... Yeah, she's keeping an eye out, kind of half glancing at the Dusk Elves, and just looking for anyone that looks particularly depressed as she heads up.
Yes, yeah, it does come across your guys as anybody who is remembering Madame Eva's readings. There is actually supposed to be a Dusk Elf living among Uvistani that you were told could potentially help you out. So, seems like it may be a potential option. So,
We're not to the west, are we?
huh?
We're not to the west.
West
No,
of.
I believe we're coming from the
Oh yeah,
the
no, you're coming
northern.
through the big northern road. Yeah.
Okay, so not to the west. Got it. Sorry, I have something that says look to the west. So
Oh,
We
gotcha.
are
My
technically west of where Madame Eva was.
Also, this is another map that is annoyingly rotated, because north is to the right. You guys are coming in on the northwestern side, technically. It's dumb. Yeah, but you're on the map. I'm gonna call it north because I don't care. You know what? Even hold on. Fuck this little compass in the corner. That's north.
Wait, there's a compass?
I don't know if you guys can see it. Actually, I just realized.
No, I don't see any compass.
There you go. I rotated it because I don't give a fuck.
Whatever works, you know.
So yeah, you guys begin to enter, and you begin to climb up this hill, and it's a fairly decent incline. It's a good from where you're at on the road. It's a good 30-foot climb, like vertically up this hill. So it's a pretty steep hill to kind of get up. But as you guys begin to approach, you do see some Vistani come out to greet you, and sort of one holds up a hand. Halt. State your business.
Sonia Bilnada's, we heard that there was a missing child and wanted to offer our assistance. Repeat here, and she pats her companion. He's very good at tracking.
My friend Vasalda sent us.
And you see them both like take a moment to be like,
I'm here because someone said there might be a fight involved.
oh, what? Sorry?
A fight.
Oh,
A fight.
boy.
I might get to fight things. Who knows? As he just kind of looks off and just starts picking his nose.
They kind of give your group a once over, and they just kind of give a slow nod. You can already see no roll necessary. You're already piquing their interest just surely because you are all different. You are clearly not someone that's been from the camp, someone they've seen before, any of that. So like you caught their attention just already by being different.
I mean, Repeat is a giant quadrupedal shark dog.
One of them has not stopped looking at you. The other one has made a definite pass over the group, though. And they... Good.
Sonia just kind of lets out this heavy sigh. Yes, we're not from around here. We got brought here by the mist. Please stop staring. It's a little bit rude.
Oh, no. Repeat doesn't mind them staring because now there's going to be an echo behind the one that's staring at him.
No, she's minding the staring.
Yeah, I'm saying Repeat doesn't care because now there's an echo behind one of them just breathing down their neck. And the moment they turn to look, it disappears.
Yep, the one on the left begins to turn to motion and sees the echo like at the below peripheral of his vision and goes, huh! And as it disappears, like flips back around to look at the actual one and is like, and then just slowly turns to...
He's looking the most innocent that he ever could, because he has no idea what made him panic.
Roll a deception check.
I think every DM here is wanting you to roll that deception.
Yeah.
9.
Oh
I get no modifiers.
So the one that saw it just kind of glares but doesn't bring it up. He knows you did something. He doesn't know what. He doesn't understand it, but he knows you did something. But regardless, still turns and motions to the tent. Go up and speak with Argal and Luvash. They will fill you in.
Arugula and Lavash, got it.
Arugula.
And they just turn, and the one kind of glances over his shoulder, repeat again, and then just continues up the hill.
Well, when he looks at Repeat, and then when he gets ready to turn back around, then there's suddenly a echo just sitting there staring at him at eye level.
Yeah, and he stares back at it, and then just keeps walking.
The longer he stares, and then it just suddenly disappears, just gone, like it never existed.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, it's happened twice now. I'm just gonna, okay. So it's almost a level of I don't get paid enough for this shit, but not quite. It's more like I'm not paid enough to deal with this right now.
I will deal with this when it becomes an issue. Right now, I don't get paid enough to deal with this fuckery.
Basically. So you guys, do you continue to approach?
Yeah.
Okay. So you... Where did I just... Love it. I literally just lost my spot in the book, because that's how that works. Yep, so you begin to approach the main tent, and you can see alongside both of the entryways, there are barrels of what looked to be, you can already see, like, most of them are popped open, or, like, taps that should be leaking that are open, and there's nothing coming out. There's several just casks of empty wine barrels laying outside of the tent. As you guys enter, though, you do hear the crack of a whip and a yelp from in the tent. And you can see, as you kind of round the corner, there are these two guys standing over a Vistani who is, like, bound with his hands behind his back and his head down, who is just, like, breathing heavy. He looks pretty rough, like, he's not in good shape right now. And you just see you see two guys. The two that are standing over them, let me see if I can blow up their images for you, because they actually look pretty neat. Have to remember how to do.
If you click on the token, it should allow you to like bring out the like just resize it.
I'm just going to resize it for the moment. There's this handsome-looking gentleman who is the slightly smaller of the pair. Definitely more of a kind of a like devilishly handsome looks kind of a guy. Definitely plays on his personality more than his wits, or he uses his wits more than his strength. Versus his definitely more brute of a brother who is standing next to him, who is big strong boy. Very, very angry looking. The other guy has a very neutral expression, maybe a slight grin at the corner of his mouth. This guy just looks pissed, and he's the one, as you walk in, holding the whip.
Well, this is awkward.
And they both stop and turn, and Luvash kind of motions, and so you can see that the bigger one of the two kind of motions with his hand, and the more roguish one, I guess, begins to walk towards you and kind of folds his hands in front of himself. I don't think we've met before. How can I help you?
Hi, are you arugula or lavish?
I am Aragol,
Okay.
and he motions behind him without looking. This is my brother Luvash.
Cool. Hey, my friend Visalda said y'all needed some help with a missing kid, so we're here to help.
Salt of the elf, right?
Yeah, she's great.
She's been thorough thus far, but no success. So you've come to help, I hear, then.
Yeah, I just said that.
He just takes a small breath. So it just threw me off. It was so good. And he begins to talk as the whip cracks one more time on the Vistani down there, and you can see after that Luvash is like getting low and like grabbing the guy by the scruff on top of his head, and like you can't quite make out what he's saying to him, but he is like ridiculing this guy, you can see. And Aragel is just like, well, we would be most appreciated if someone would find Luvash's dear daughter here. Her name is Arabelle, and she went missing not but a few days ago.
If I may, my companion here, Repeat, is fairly good at tracking. Do you have any of her belongings? Anything that would have her scent?
And you see him motion over to one of the Vistani that is kind of hanging out. There's you now look and see behind them too, there's like 4 Vistani just kind of hanging out. Some of them just looking like gruff and intimidating. Some of them are side-eyeing the other Vistani who's getting whipped right now, and like they're being cautious in their own right. Like there's a mix of like all of this stuff going on, and they're just like trying to take it all in, newcomers and all of this stuff. But he motions to the one who immediately runs out of the tent, and he just looks back at you and goes, "He'll return in a moment, but it's good to know that you may have a chance." Luvash is and he motions again to Luvash behind him, very upset that it's taken this long.
Yeah, that sure is the right way to motivate somebody. So what details you got here? Anything? What's up? What happened?
He first looks back at the being whipped Vistani and goes, "It's not motivation, it's punishment."
He was the one supposed to be watching over the girl.
Indeed.
Dereliction of duty. Fair enough.
And he begins to. I have to find the description. I will just say he gives you the description of her. I will find it for you when I find it. He gives you the description, her physical description. She's about 7 years old. Was last seen in camp, and then she seemed to just be gone.
She's taking notes. And height, weight, build. Trying to get an idea of the exact location she was seen last so we can go check the scene. And then again, kind of looks over to where the guy's being whipped and is just like, if you can take a moment from that, do you have any of your daughter's belongings? I can try to help Repeat here, get her sent.
Yep, and that's when the Vistani comes back, and you can see he's holding a small doll in his hands. And
Oh,
just
I
kinda
missed that
holds
part.
it out. No, you're good.
All right.
Does this
Repeat.
doll look familiar?
You can see on it that there is a very tattered and torn tag for "Is no Blinsky is no fun," but it is very tattered and old. Clearly a well-loved toy.
Does it look like Mary's doll?
It's a similar make.
Okay.
Definitely the same creator, but not necessarily the same type.
Okay. So back to town.
Not. Pardon? What do you mean back to town?
Oh, 'cause the tag and doll maker.
We first need to check the scene of where she was and see if Repeat can get the scent.
Yeah, but see, it's weird because I have a friend back in Barovia. Her name is Mary. She's a really nice lady, really sweet. Her daughter went missing too, and her daughter also had a doll that had that same tag on it, so it was made by the same guy. And that just seems like too much of a, what do you call it, coinky-dink? So...
You see Argal kind of hold up his hand to stop, and he goes, "Trust me, we've already been over the toy maker's property. She's not there.
Ah, well, alrighty then, never mind.
But it is good to know that there are others."
She's gonna blink a moment, but she'll take the doll and kind of examine it real quick. Is investigation, arcana, is there any magic lingering on this thing? Just in case.
Go ahead and just roll a quick investigation check.
There's also another thing we need to keep in mind. Booba has the same slogan.
Yeah,
Yes.
on him.
Although you guys did notice that Booba disappeared shortly after the tavern. You have not seen him since leaving.
Okay.
At 20 for a total of 25.
Giving it a thorough look over, it definitely isn't. Doesn't seem to have any runic inscriptions or any sort of magical. Anything that in the doll would be able to hold an enchantment of any kind. So, you're fairly certain this is just a standard little cloth and maybe a little bit of material for the eyes and stuff doll.
Okay. And then she'll kneel down in front of Repeat and hold out the doll so he can get the scent.
And he will start sniffing over the doll.
Okay, so with you having gotten the scent of
He's also going to snip the person that brought it over and the father, so he can differentiate between the scents, for starters.
Gotcha. Luvash, who is
Is
the
Luvash still whipping the guy?
No, he has stopped. You can see that he has like had his fill essentially and has turned to look at the conversation.
Right. Uncharacteristically to the rest of you and the way you have seen Weirin act, he actually goes up to the whipped man and says, "How are you doing? You doing all right?" What accent was that? How you doing? You doing all right?
And you see actually he starts to look up and Luvash kind of looks down at you and goes, "No pity on this man. He knows what he did."
Weirin, why are you interfering?
And you see Weirin. Let's just say I don't like seeing people be whipped. If you're gonna kill a man, or you're gonna hurt him, take off a limb or two. Whipping is just cruel.
I will keep that in mind. But we run our camp a certain way.
What would I say you don't whip him in my presence?
He's had enough for tonight.
Weirin just kind of looks at the guy in the eye and is just like, sometimes, me, it wasn't your fault.
What are you... Weirin, you do understand why he was being whipped.
The child was lost on his watch, was it not?
Correct. Dereliction of duty.
Yes. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, there are things that can fuck with the head here.
Yeah, no, like, it's probably
Things-
really not his fault.
Things that can fuck with your mind. Hell, I don't know much about vampires, but I know some beasts that if they come up to you and just ask you, you'll do what they ask. Strange magics that get people to do what you want.
Hell, I can do that sometimes.
So,
Hell, Repeat pulls that on a pretty normal basis, fucking with people's heads.
I could understand you maybe punishing the man for losing the child. But leave it at a couple. Because you still need this man.
Oh, I know.
And, quite frankly, and Weirin's gonna look at the guy. It looks like he's learned his lesson. And now you're more doing it out of anger than out of punishment.
He's just looking you up and down and just trying to get a read on you.
By the way, you see Weirin is dead serious with this. He is not joking.
Yeah, and Luvash is caught on to that. He's very much like he's not able to. Obviously, there's no reason for him to know anything, but he's gauging why you're reacting like that and trying to just kind of come up with reasoning in his own head. You can see.
Yeah. And Weirin will not avert his gaze from Luvash. He's staring him straight in the eyes. And coming back up to his full height. We'll get your girl back. I just have a feeling that you should find some other way to take out your anger.
Go find my daughter. And then maybe we'll talk. And he'll turn and work his way deeper into the tent to grab a cup of something sitting on a shelf.
You guys can feel free to make a perception check on Weirin if you want.
Yeah. 15 plus 5.
You see as he gets up and looks back down at the man, unconsciously, he just kind of rubs the back of his neck, and that's enough to see that he has scar. There's a reason why he wears a vest. He has scarring coming. You can see just a bit of scarring coming back from the top of his vest as he rubs, and it's pushed down towards his back. Shall we go? No time like the present, right?
Aragao kind of motions almost theatrically with his arms towards the entrance of the tent and says, "Best of luck. May you be the ones who return her."
He just looks back at the man. He's like, "Cheer up, things will be better." And I'm actually gonna cast Healing Word on the guy.
Okay.
He'll get just 4 points of healing back.
Okay. And for the hell of it, go ahead and roll that.
Oh Jesus!
Spellcasting 12.
Okay,
Just for the hell of it.
that is a 1.
Oh, something happens. Let me grab my thing. Which one was that?
Hopefully, it doesn't blow up the tent. Be like, well, that was.
No.
That
I'm kind of sorry about that.
Hilarious. but no.
I would laugh if it did.
So on a 1, you maximize the effect of the spell. What is the maximum healing that could do?
That would be 8, since it's a
8.
1d4 plus. Or no, it'd be 7. It's a 1d4 plus my charisma modifier, so he actually gets 7 hit points back.
Nice. Yeah, you see a sudden surge of extra health in this man that was not there before. Most of the wounds and stuff, you can tell just from the sheer amount of healing that you just did that many of the marks will not scar because of what you just were capable of doing to him.
He knows he hasn't fully healed him, but he knows that, like, just a kind word and the fact that he can make it so things don't scar
Yep.
is
and
enough to say shit weird.
You do meet his eyes, and there is just a thankful... Like, he's not saying anything for fear of getting on Luvash's bad side, but there is just a look of complete thankfulness for any help. He barely has to guess that it was you that just helped.
And Weirin doesn't know that he's helped in any way. He just hopes that the man feels better. It was just his intent.
Yeah, and you can read that on his face. You did a lot just now for him.
And Weirin will exit the tent without a word.
Alrighty, with that, repeat, I will say, since you were able to get the scent on the doll, that any checks you make to try and find the child will be at advantage. So.
Okay. It's probably a good thing that Weirin was kind of stepped in there, because if the guy was going to continue to whip the dude, Repeat actually was going to snatch the whip away from him and then with the echo and then have it disappear with the whip.
Yeah, probably best.
Yeah.
If the guy had continued to whip the guy in Weirin's presence while they were trying to get information and help his child, Weirin would have caught the whip and not care about the consequences.
This could have gone some interesting ways.
Yeah.
Let's just say, no, I haven't fully shared Weirin's backstory with you. I can share it later, but there's shit there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Weirin's been through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
There's a reason
you
why
don't
he
go
looks like
batshit crazy like that just on a whim.
Oh no. There's shit that's broke, Weirin.
Yeah.
Alright.
Anyway.
But with that, we have you guys officially head out towards the tent. Is there anything else you would like to do before you skedaddle back?
I think, of course, checking the area, so walking over to the area so that Repeat can try to see if he can locate her scent. But I think as well, Sonia's going to be kind of confused and look at Weirin. So you believe that he... I'm sorry, I'm used to being a city guard. I'm used to situations and certain punishments for dereliction of duty, but you're...
Where's the dereliction?
The child disappeared on his watch.
That doesn't mean that he abandoned his post. That just means that something happened. Like, you've never had a bad guy get away from you on a whim?
I'm gonna ask you something. I'm gonna ask you something quite clearly.
May I answer her question first?
Well, you're asking me the question, are you
Well,
not?
she asked me a question. So let me answer her first, real quick.
Fine.
And yes, I have, and I've received my 10 lashes. That's why I'm a little confused.
Well, where you come from sounds like it fucking sucks, because shit happens, especially here.
So far, this place is proving to be just crazier and darker than you guys expected it to be.
So,
I think.
so Weirin says, in your time, in my time with you, your dog, which you're supposedly supposed to have control over, or be your partner, correct? Has gotten out of your control and caused messes all over the town.
Yes.
Would you call that a dereliction of duty?
That is my dereliction. If my superior officer was here, I would be ripped.
Whipped for every time. You would gladly take 40 or 50 lashings.
If my superior officer was here, I would be punished. There's a reason I've been one of the very few people to continue working with Repeat. He's worth the pain.
I don't see torture as punishment. That man back there, he knew he messed up the moment he learned the girl was gone. Whether by guilt or by other means, the whipping was completely unnecessary. I see it more done as anger than out of any kind of punishment. And if you come from a society that believes pain and injury is what is needed to make a better soldier, and you come from a very sad society indeed.
In all perfect honesty, what I was put through for them was, as a guard, was quite less than what my family put me through.
Let's just find the girl. And he walks away from the conversation.
She watches him again, a little confused.
While this is all going on, Repeat, go ahead and roll me a perception check with advantage.
Would it be a perception check or an investigation?
Either or, in this case.
Okay.
Because you're probably using the sense to track, which would be more perception.
Okay. Perception is better anyways.
I think as well, while Weirin walks off, she's going to look at Gilly a little confused. Are you telling me there are other places that don't punish their gods in a way, that way?
Why would anyone... Hold on. Tone it back down.
That was a nat 20, by the way, D.
Nice, okay. We'll get that in a second.
She just shrugs and she's like, what possible incentive is there to become a guard knowing that you can be put through torture because something went wrong on your watch?
It's a lot better incentive than...
No, because...
I don't know, being thrown into a pit of undead vampires like my family did to train me.
I mean, whatever.
Being a
your
god was far
family
easier.
That sounds fucked up too. Just because something else is more fucked up than the thing that you're talking about that's not being fucked up, doesn't make that thing any less fucked up. If I break my arm and you sprain your ankle, my broken arm doesn't make your sprained ankle any less of a problem for you. Fucked up is fucked up, man, and that's pretty fucked up.
Out of character, that is pretty fucked up. Your family threw you into a pit with vampires.
You
Although in a
gotta learn
technical
up.
sense,
It was what they called on hands training. So
no, that's fucked up.
For some reason, I'm just thinking the Heihachi continually throwing his sons off a mountain.
pretty much. She was put. There's a reason she left, and a reason why she sees the guard duty as a lot simpler. Simply because she went from the equivalent of hell in a handbasket to hot frying pan.
So, hey, look at it this way, okay? And I'm actually gonna, hang on. It wasn't a 1. I'm gathering from your little outburst that you don't like your family. And you don't go back to your family. Because they're probably like the worst thing that you've had, right? Someone else who hasn't had that level of worst, if they go to join your guard thing and then they get whipped, that's their worst. Why would they come back to that?
Oh.
Yeah.
She just kind of looks a little flabbergasted. I honestly never thought of it that way. I was just glad to be...
great wisdom coming out here.
Yeah.
Do you guys follow Weirin as he walks out of camp?
Yeah, we're basically following and talking, so Weirin would probably hear this too, and
Well,
Sonia's honest confusion. That
it's just
makes
like,
sense.
it's like, trust me. You just hear him say, trust me. Being thrown into a pit of vampires is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. You ain't seen shit.
I'm not saying that's the worst thing that
Well,
ever
you're
happened.
saying...
I'm simply
What you're
saying
saying is, in comparison, 10 lashes from a whip is nothing. What I'm saying is what you've had. If we're playing the torture or bad things Olympics, what you just said that you went through to disregard his pain, I've gone through way much worse so as to disregard yours. You see how that feels?
Again, she kind of tilts her head and... Look, I've never had anyone point this out to me before. It's just... It was better than home. And I thought it was normal. So if you're saying that that's not normal, then that means I need to reevaluate some things.
Let me put it in a bit of a comparison for you. Pretend Luvosh was the storekeeper. Pretend that man was Periwimple, and he was being whipped for dropping a crate. Would you have interjected then? They're both duties, minor in the scope of things.
Well, yes, but there...
Go ahead.
Look, I'm starting to understand what you're saying, but I've learned there's a difference between dereliction of duty and somebody who doesn't have the mental capacity to understand dereliction of duty.
You don't know that man. Maybe he doesn't have the mental capacity to realize what is wrong. Does whipping him cause him to have it? Does whipping Periwimple cause him to not?
Where? I don't know.
He's-
We walked into the tail end of that.
He's just going to put up his hand and he's like, I understand these are new concepts for you. Sorry, that's a bit too smart a word for weird. I understand this is a new thing for you to have inside your noggin. But know that back there was not violence for the sake of a point. It was violence for the sake of violence. And while I love me some violence, one thing you might have noticed is everything I've been violent against has consented to it. By deed, action, or word. I don't punish. I don't be cruel.
I do just also want to take this moment to address everyone as a group. I don't feel like y'all really grasp your situation here. Like, this place isn't right. Like, it's all a big clusterfuck of fucked up, and you are going to die here. And like, she's like dead serious, looking at between all three of you.
As you say that to Weirin, he just kind of smirks. He's like, no, I'm not.
You literally cannot leave this place. So, whether you get your ass handed to you or you die of old age, you're going to die here. And y'all need to accept that right quick.
He just kind of smirks at it and is like, you'd be amazed at some of the places I've been able to leave. But I'll leave you to your belief.
Regardless, this place is dangerous as fuck.
I understand that. There's no reason we should make it. We should allow others to accept being cruel as a reaction to it.
Shut up. She fully just claps a hand over his mouth. This place is dangerous, and it is small.
He licks your hand.
She doesn't react. So,
question is, can she actually feel the lick? Because, I mean, if I remember correctly, she's kind of undead.
You don't know that! Who told you?
She's covered in stitches!
So?
People got scars,
Oh, God.
I mean, Repeat doesn't know this, but...
That
Anyway.
was the unhappiest. You don't know that. He just guessed right, Screech.
Alright, I'm just gonna point this out. Every single character I've been around that Becca has played is undead.
Look,
So that was hardly a bad guess.
I have a theme,
You
okay?
you did make that one a little obvious, I'm not gonna lie.
I have a very particular skill set.
I mean, I could throw a coin and hit one of your undead characters.
Anyway.
At that,
Well, that cat's out of the bag.
at that, Weirin's just gonna raise his hands.
No, not
And
yet. I'm not done talking.
okay,
So, you wanting to fight everything, you pointing at Weirin, then pointing at Sonya, you wanting to butt into everything, pointing at Repeat, you wanting to cause absolute shit is putting you all at severe risk. This is probably one of the most dangerous places I've ever been in, just based on nature alone. So wasting all your spell power in a friendly spar in the middle of the day is probably not a great idea. Pissing off the guards in what is arguably the best of the only 3 towns in this whole place, probably not a great idea. And interfering with people in their day-to-day lives, especially people who are part of one of the biggest groups of people in this place, is probably not a great idea. What I'm trying to get across here is this isn't a playground, guys. Like, y'all are in danger constantly. At any moment, you can be attacked. There are fucking wolves in the forest that can come and attack you in broad daylight, and they will, and they have, and they will again. So, maybe it's worth a little reevaluation on how you're addressing things that are happening in this world, because this world is not the world you are familiar with. She takes her hand away and wipes it on his face.
Repeat is just staring at Gilly just in a very blank manner because he may be smart for a dog, but he's still a dog.
Weirin
Let me.
just picks up his chicken and wipes his face on his chicken.
Does he look like confused or?
Who, Repeat or Weirin?
Repeat.
Indeed. She's inside you.
Oh, you're inciting? Okay.
Yeah.
He's clueless on what you're actually talking about because, I mean, he's a large shark dog that has been scrutinized his entire existence because he is, by most definitions, an abomination. So he acts out for the simple fact of he can.
If I may, I just thought of a good comparison as to what Repeat is. If, Eugene, you've played Dragon Age, you are a Minbari who doesn't have an actual person that you've really actually bonded with. The closest you are is to Sonia, but that's still not a full bond yet. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, that would be.
There we go.
Yeah. But
yeah, he would be the demon blighted Minbari.
Nice. Gilly locks eyes with him, sees that he's not quite getting it, and just sighs and goes, "When you make people inside a town mad, we can't keep going into that town, which means that your pretty friend here doesn't get to have a nice place to sleep or a hot meal provided to her. So if you keep annoying people in towns, you're going to run out of places where she can do that."
He's still just kind of staring at you.
You said pretty friend, and Sonia is beet red. Also, Sonia's going to kind of tilt her head a little bit at hearing this and is like, "Well, Gilly, honestly, it sounds like you've been here the longest and you understand the best." So she'll tap her shield lightly. "Lead on, Captain."
No, shit, I was...
Fuck you, girl! You're the one who put me as the captain, now you are!
You did get you there.
And you did just give a massive speech because you've been here the longest of how people should act in this place. You are now the captain. You are now the leader.
Weirin just kind of looks around and he's just like, "Pretty one."
I was kind of expecting that.
as you say this to Weirin, he's like, "Man, you need to get your eyes checked. I'm ugly as shit."
She winks
Okay.
at him.
I just want to say this, player, to the rest of players. Becca, I have been waiting for you to give me this opening with Gilly for several play sessions now, and you finally gave it to me. Gracias, mi amiga.
De nada.
I mean, we kind of forced Izza into the position of the leader. Now we're shoving
Actually,
you into
Izza
that
forced
role.
herself. Izza forced herself.
She
She
really
requested.
did, though. I will die on that hill.
She specifically
I asked.
said that somebody needed to be a captain, and they're like, "Okay, 1, 2, 3, not it."
Literally 2 hours into meeting Lana.
Yes,
Here's
and
the
then
thing,
Lana full-on patted her on the back. Was like, "That's your job, kid." So,
Here's
congratulations.
The other thing, too, about all this is the original composition of the group was a scarecrow, a dog that cannot talk, Weirin,
Just enough said with that
Sonia,
one.
and then a gnome who is now dead, and then a puppet who just
And took a
decided to show
broom
up
to
and
the
help.
groin.
Of all the people here, until Gilly joins, there wasn't a lot of option there.
We were all a ragtag that was
No, I
just
said
like,
puppet.
okay, yeah.
No,
1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah, basically, like
Can I just say I love that your description of Weirin is just Weirin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain is the thing. We
I just
understand.
love that I am such a unique character that it's just like you defy description.
You have become that descriptor word that is both a noun and a verb.
Just like Lana.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
Like,
just like Lana and Brisbane at this point.
you have already cemented yourself as one of those. It's
Nice.
been
I'm
real
I'm
easy.
I'm a big fan of that. A shark dog, a blah blah blah, Weirin. Just-
No, it
sorry.
won't be.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to that nat 20 perception. Repeat, you catch 3 things in rapid succession. First and foremost, you catch. Your initial goal was to find that scent. You do
Mhm.
know that scent coming from this rightmost cart on the map. But you can see that the Vistani that had the doll is returning it to that cart. So clearly that's where she lived. So that's why there's a heavy amount of scent coming from there. But otherwise, the scent actually leads you back up and out the path in which you guys came down originally. You also spot in the southernmost house down here a figure as he disappears around the corner of this house down here. Very much not a Vistani. And lastly,
Okay, was the scent taking us down this direction or
no, the
back
scent
up?
is taking you back up the way you guys came in.
Okay. Okay.
But so you see, you note that the scent is taking you north. There's a figure to the south who is definitely not like the rest of the camp. Must be a dusk elf or something. But just as like a notable figure that seems to have caught your attention in that moment. And then you also see a short time after you guys have moved away from the entry of the tent, one of them, Aragal, the guy you guys were talking to, leaves and actually goes to a different cart, scrabbles a piece of note, attaches it to a hawk, and sends the hawk off.
Okay.
You've caught several little details all in one kind of moment that kind of split your attention in 3 different ways, but with that nat 20 you managed to catch all of those happening within a pretty short amount of time.
Okay, so I think the first thing that Repeat is going to do is he is going to lead others towards where the guy who just wrote all the letters. I mean, wrote
Okay.
the letter and took off, and he's going to point it out to Sonia, and basically he's going to do a gesture like place of interest, and then he's going to look for like a piece of charcoal or something that he could use, hold in his mouth like he's writing something. He can't write with shit, but he scribble.
Right. You can definitely. There's probably there are several little fires that burn within the central tent, which all fume out of a central like almost chimney-like structure at the top of the tent. And there's definitely been like people have tracked like chunks of charcoal out of the tent. No problem. There's probably some right in the entryway that you could grab.
Yeah, he's gonna grab a piece of charcoal and he's going to go over to where he saw the guy write something. He's going to scribble on. It was on a cart, right?
He had fetched a bird from one of the carts and scribbled on some parchment before attaching it and releasing.
Okay.
So I've got him placed over where he was, which is over on the right side here.
Okay, so he's going to act like he's writing something, and then he's going to use his tail to point skyward, and then he's going to lead them to the guy that wrote the letter. And then he's going to have his echo kind of point in the direction of where he saw the mysterious figure.
So, Sonia, you suddenly get a rapid fire amount
Series
of info.
signals, yes.
Yeah.
So the guy with the who wrote the note is already gone?
Yes, he went out, did that, sent it off, and immediately returned back to the central tent.
She glances upward to try to see direction that the bird went.
Make a perception check.
Right, that is it. That cocked. Stop catching against my other die. Fuck you. That is a 13 plus 5, so 18. Right? Perception, yes.
The only bit of information you gather is from Rapide would have pointed in a general direction, which would have been kind of a southerly-ish direction, but you don't actually see the bird. This while it's in a pretty open area, there's a pretty hefty tree line that immediately cuts off too far vision. So while you don't manage to catch the bird, you do get the idea that he kind of...
Are there any more birds in the cart?
No. On that earlier perception check, no. There wouldn't have been any others.
I'm gonna kneel down next to Rapide and kind of signal real quick, but basically which of the two? Was it the dad? Or was it the other dude?
And at this point, they're on opposite ends of the tent, so it's very easy for you to point out which one of the...
Well, Rapide is just going to walk up to the person and nose bump him. He's not going to be blunt about pointing out this person.
I mean, bumping the person is a little more obvious than shifting
motioning
a tail direction or something.
Yeah, he's just going to walk up to the person and nose bump him, almost like headbutting him.
Sorry, I was assuming we were still outside, so I was just giving...
You are. Rapide is going back in the tents to bump him.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, Rapide, come out here, will you? This
Arago
is...
kind of gets bumped and looks down and says, "Shoo," and just kind of brushes you off, like, go away.
And I am going to try to insight check him real quick, because the way he did that, my mind always tries to puzzle shit. So this is the brother, not the dad, right?
Correct. Yeah, Arago is the one that was motioned to or bumped in this case.
All right, so let's
What
go
are you
ahead.
trying to learn from this insight check?
Did fucker make off with his niece? Because sometimes the biggest danger is your own family.
Sorry, did he what?
Did he make off with his niece?
Off.
There's
Okay.
a word that's very essential. You said the correct word. I think she just misheard.
Yeah, it's very, very, very careful with putting "make" before another word.
Yeah. So, no. So,
Okay, that went right over my head. I'm confused, so I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah, just leave it be.
Very
Don't try to
fucking
think about it.
yeah. No. Just. Anyways, go ahead and make that insight check. This is going to be more of a retroactive one because currently he's not exhibiting any behavior that would probably indicate otherwise, but you could have been looking at his facial expressions and stuff while he was communicating and telling you guys about everything. So
Yeah, because I mean, she's basically a cop, and that's one of the first things you learn is that sometimes the biggest danger is your own family. That's a nat fucking 20.
then you gather very quickly that he is definitely not responsible for it. There is enough care and concern in his eyes anytime the child was brought up or mention of Luvash that he genuinely is concerned, but he's keeping his upfront appearance. And you can tell just from the way that they interact with everybody, they're the leaders of this little encampment. So while they're not like explicitly like giving away their emotions, he's definitely not hiding any like dark nature in that sense.
Okay. And she just kind of pats her pee and kind of kneels down and gives him a signal. Oh, that's what you heard. No, I said off. Jesus, I just looked at the chat. Anyway,
No. Anyways,
she's gonna signal.
I'm honestly
to-
surprised you didn't get what we were referring to immediately, but
it's a lot going on.
I had 2 hours of sleep last night. I am not computing properly right now. So bear with me if anything goes right over my fucking head. Anyway, she'll signal repeat, not the uncle, and then signal him again to lead to the figure he was indicating.
Yes. So, Repeat will lead you guys, and the rest of you are welcome to follow. I don't know if you've been kind of witnessing what's been going on here, but yeah, there is a house down to the south of the main tent, that Repeat is motioning to, because he saw something of interest. What exactly is hard to say.
Yeah, well, Repeat is going to be, going down to where he saw the person. He's going to see if he can pick up their scent and follow where they may have gone. Because he saw them there, but they're not there. So he's going to see if he can find them.
Yep, and you get a very fresh scent, obviously new to the other scent that you had just acquired. You get a new scent that is immediately, like, you smell it from the spot that you saw him, and then you immediately recognize that the entire house smells of this. Whoever that was must live here.
Okay. I'm guessing that this is the door, right?
Yes, the door is to the south.
Is there any openings that Repeat can see through?
There is not any direct openings. Go ahead and make a... This would be a... I can't decide if just flat intelligence or a history... I guess do a history check for me real fast.
A history check, okay. To see if I've smelled this before?
Depending on if you get a piece of information or not by looking at things.
That is 16.
You gather from the nature of the creatures that are here, the beings that dwell. This house has no windows. It only has the door. Something in the back of your mind triggers there are certain species and races out there that are they dislike the direct sunlight. Not because it's like a vampire thing where it hurts them, but just they're less comfortable in direct sunlight. So in
Light
this case, probably
sensitivity.
keeping a darker interior is probably more comfortable for them.
Okay, so
Are you guys tagging along, or are you just letting Repeat wander down to this random person's house?
I'm keeping on his heels, just hand kind of resting on his back as
Repeat will follow.
That's our team. Excuse me?
Repeat will follow.
Mirren will follow.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. So yeah, you guys all kind of tag along down. And you see the same thing too. It looks pretty much identical to the rest of the houses that are surrounding this hillside. And you very quickly gather from the people who are either standing outside these houses or are like traveling around the village, the sparseness of it right now. You can definitely tell that there is plenty of people out and about, probably looking for this child. But just from the way that this is built also, you can already see that it's most likely the fact that these Dusk Elves are the ones living in the exterior houses around, and the Vistani are the ones who live in the upper carts and tent. So, most likely the person who owns this, based on context of house and the people who are inside or outside or moving around to these different houses, likely are Dusk Elves.
So Sis is going to be calling me shortly. She just sent me a message, so I'm going to need to go ahead and bow out. Eugene, just to let you know, if you guys continue, basically Sonia is defaulting into investigative mode. there's also
Okay.
kind of a distracted aspect to her after Weirin and Gilly's clarification on what is normal and what is not normal.
Quality of life scenario, yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty much the opposite of Issa in that sense. Her parents decided to throw her to the wolves to give her the training she needed to survive vampires. So yeah. But yeah, so she's essentially kind of withdrawing into that, and Rapide would probably know a little bit because she's probably rambled to him a time or two. So he's
Yeah,
probably
probably.
seen her withdraw a bit before.
Okay.
Either way, I gotta go. You guys have fun for the rest of the night. Don't get me killed, please.
No promises.
Fair.
Anyhow,
All right.
all right. So,
We probably
Is
won't
there-
do a ton much more, but we will at least communicate with people.
yeah. Is there anything that would indicate that this person is suspicious in any way other than the fact that he's an outlier that is on the edge of the encampment?
You gather from the commonality of scent of the little girl that you have, it is negligible amounts of it down here. There's a heavy possibility she's never even been down to this house. So that immediately kind of sets you off as like highly unlikely that she is here or this person has anything to do with her.
So he's just a recluse that is at the edge of the encampment.
Yeah, I mean he's of
Okay.
one of the several houses that is surrounding this main encampment. It's definitely, you can already see how the power structure is here. The Vistani are
Mhm.
definitely the ones in charge, and the Dusk Elves, well,
Yeah.
not so much.
All right. So then I guess we will just continue on this, following the little girl's scent, since there doesn't seem to be any indication that there is any foul play inside of the encampment, as it seems right now. Unless there is something that that Rapide picked up that I'm missing.
So actually, I think the one that this might hit the most is probably Weirin, because Weirin, you probably paid the most attention to Madame Eva's words. Like, you probably hung off of every word, taking every bit of it in stride. And
Yeah.
there is an immediate like recalling back to that message of the Dusk Elf hiding among the Vistani, and for some reason this one has been singled out. It almost seems too perfect in your mind that you were somehow led down to this house.
Okay. So I'll let the others know and be like, did that old bitch say something about a Dusk Elf that, like, going around about some Vistani? Sorry, he wouldn't. She's a wise woman. He wouldn't refer to her. Then that
Right,
wise
right.
woman.
Yeah, and this is another moment where you guys see Weirin like being serious about his words of,
Yeah.
like you said back at the 10, he paid attention to basically everything she said. So Weirin is pointing out that this is big. It's probably big.
Yeah, Weirin is paying attention to this. Johnny, maybe not so much, but
That's why I'm reminding you guys, because there was a lot of info that came from Madame Eva.
By the way, did we write those down somewhere? Because I'm not finding them.
Yes, they are pinned in general.
Ah, okay.
Yep, they're one of the only. There's like 3 things pinned, and it should be the top one.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that session, so I don't remember the entire conversation other than the recap.
The main info is in the in
I
the,
see
the
it.
pin message. So
I see
yep,
it. Pinned.
card 4.
Oh, yeah. Look for Dusk Elf living among the Vistani. He has suffered a great loss and is haunted by dark dreams. So I'm just like, if we're to believe the wise woman's words, this man is in need of help.
Wow. Shit. Okay.
And I look over towards the leader.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I should have just stayed in my cemetery, man. She goes and knocks on the door.
There is a few moments, and then you hear approaching fairly quiet footsteps, and the door just kind of peeks open. He goes, "Oh, hello."
Just massive undead orc standing in the doorway.
Now that cat's out of the bag, everyone go ahead and roll an immediate insight check when this man's face appears through the doorway.
That's a nat 20.
Jesus. So you got a 15 and...
Sorry, I'm doing something at the moment. Insight. Oh, this will
Yes.
be good. A +0.
I have a -1.
Gillian has a -1.
18.
Hey, yeah. So you all pick up on it pretty quickly. And repeat. Half of your job as a guard is to read people, so this comes to you naturally. This hits you pretty quickly, also, Weirin, just because you've been hanging on the exact words of Madame Eva.
Yeah.
And then Gilly, you notice it pretty quickly as he starts speaking, and you see the way his face kind of adjusts. Immediately, this man is indeed kind of like haunted. There's something about his demeanor and his tone, and the more you talk to him, the more you're going to see that he is just like shit's fucked all over across Barovia. Shit's especially fucked for this man. Like he has dealt with some very special levels of shit. So, and he just kind of glances at the whole group. It's like, "Can I help you?"
You look like shit. But I think...
Enters this door and we immediately...
What a way to introduce yourself. Wow, you look like shit. And this coming from an undead
The worst
orc.
part is he nods. He's just like,
Which is funny because this is coming from the people confronting him are a really dirty, fucked up looking warrior with his fucked up looking chicken. A shark dog, and an undead orc, and it's just like
with a zombie cat.
yeah. Is the
yeah.
cat all around by now? Like,
Yeah.
is it around?
I imagine he stays like within 10 feet of me.
Okay, I will keep that in mind for future.
Yeah, this is definitely a thing where it's just like, yeah,
And
okay.
I think that's part of it, is he like recognizes that, and he's like, yeah, okay, these people have seen their own level of shit. Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Kettle calling, the pot calling the kettle black.
yeah.
You know.
An immediate, like, subconscious connection, essentially. Just like, oh, yep, okay.
He's like, yeah, that makes sense.
So she
Yep.
says, you look like shit. But I think we're the ones that should be asking you that question because we think that for some reason we can help you for something. I don't know.
Do you need help with something?
Yeah, that.
You see his eyes, like he was slowly kind of meeting each of your gazes, and then kind of looks down. But you can tell he's not like staring off at anything. He's just like, he's got that almost like 1,000-yard stare as he kind of looks away. And he just goes, "So you've heard?"
Sure.
Aaron just kind of looks at me and is like, heard what?
My apologies. I would invite you in, but I have a very small abode. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Casimir. And like you can see the struggle. Like he hates talking about it, but he has to, and like he knows he has to. and so he pushes himself through it. He like kind of pinches his nose and is like, my sister was unfortunately killed a while back. And he kind of looks to each side and he goes, come in, actually, come in. And we'll invite you all in. It is a very small place. There is not a lot of room in here for really anything. There's enough room for you guys to kind of stand after entering the doorway, and then he's got like a table and like a nice chair and like a small bed in the corner, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot going on in here. And he goes and takes the seat at the end of the table, and motions to those who want to sit. Otherwise, he just begins talking. He goes, "The Vistani here," and like again, he's hesitating in that level of like, I want to tell you, I have to be very careful what I tell you. The Vistani here are less than generous. We got a visit from, I'm sure you guys have heard the name Strahd.
Yeah.
We got a visit from
That
Strahd.
name does keep coming up.
Yeah. My sister ended up of particular interest to him. And our refusal to let him do what he wished, we drew his ire, and I don't know if you've noticed, but any of the other Dusk Elves in this little camp are all of the male variety.
Gross.
And he looks and goes, no, not for that reason.
Okay.
You will find a small graveyard just outside of the village. Many of those. God damn it. And he kind of stops himself, and you can see him take that inward moment of like, why did I just tell you all this? Like, you walked in, I kind of just spilled the beans, and like, there's based on those insight checks before, he's kind of like, there's almost a sense of he needed to talk about it, but also there's a level of like he felt like he needed to for some reason.
It's obviously our welcoming and inviting personalities.
Or you, speak.
Jesus. And he kind of shakes himself out of it, and he goes, "You come offering help. There's only one thing I can think of that I need help with. That is getting my dear sister back."
Okay, where is she?
Who's your sister?
Her name is Patrina, but you would be hard-pressed to find her further than 6 feet under the ground.
I'm confused. Is she... Sorry to be blunt. Is she dead or not?
I think he said she was dead.
He just nods.
Or he lost her.
She, our refusal to give in to Strahd's demands left us with very little choice, but suffering. And what better way to do it than to make sure the entire population cannot reproduce?
So gross.
We will slowly die.
Okay. How are we supposed to help in this situation?
I believe there may be a way to bring her back. I do not have the means, but there is a place.
Yeah, see about that. My god kind of specifically doesn't get involved in that kind of shit, so that's gonna be hard. But go on. Sorry, go on.
And he kind of pauses on that, and he kind of like catalogs that for later. Like, okay. And he just goes, I think there is a thing there that, there's a thing that I might be able to find. There's a place called the Amber Temple. And the whispers and rumors and going-ons says that there may be a way to bring her back, but it isn't just that. Getting her back is not enough. We need to leave. There is rumor that there is some way to lift the curse on these lands, the mist that swarms this place. There may be a key to curing this disease there.
Oh, hey, that's great, because we want to get the fuck out, too. Okay. Yeah. Just, like, nodding at, like, Repeat and Weirin, like, yeah, totally. Yeah. Where's the Amber Temple?
Repeat is probably chewing on a chair leg at this point.
And Repeat is just kind of eyeing the chair leg also with a bit of, look at eat.
You mean Weirin?
Weird. Yeah.
Weird. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's just twice now you've accidentally. It's great. Love it.
I am in the midst of being really, really messed up with.
Yeah.
From
Fortunately,
meds.
we're almost done for today, so you'll be able to go
Yeah.
rest. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember. I know it is to the south. I just need to remember where. Yes. So he kind of does that thing where you're like a person motions in a direction, but you're inside and have no bearing on what that means. He just goes to the south. There's a mountain. The temple is said to be there. Whether it is within or on top of, I do not know. I've not been there. But if you are serious about doing this, I would accompany you. We must prepare ahead of time. I know there are many dangers, but if I can get my dear sister back and leave this horrid place, I will.
Okay, what kind of dangers are we talking? Is this like a we're strong enough to go do this right now thing, or?
I'm gonna roll for him. He's having a hard time because you've suddenly got him thinking about all of this, and like, even if there is that tiniest bit of spark of hope, he is latching onto it and digging in his heels. So he like looks at you to try to get a good read, and he just kind of shakes his head and says, "I don't know, but I'm certainly not prepared. It's a very cold temperament up there. And the rumors of even more dangerous creatures than what wander these woods."
Oh shit, the stuff around here is already pretty dangerous.
He probably just got Weirin's attention with creatures that are stronger.
Oh yeah, Weirin's completely clued into this now. He's like,
Strong things to fight. Yes.
Do you,
I wasn't really paying attention to the undead sister thing, but now that you have something to fight, I'm all on board.
do you know like any examples of what's up there? Like, what are we looking at here?
Let me see real quick. We'll go to the good old compendium here. Let me see what he may or may not know. To do. Well, let's see. It's always fun when I read something in a book and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I love it when you're looking at a module and you're like, ah yes, this person knows about this character who's first mentioned in chapter 4, but it doesn't say they're mentioned in chapter 4. They're like, they know of this character. Like, fuck. And if it's the physical book, you're like, where is this character mentioned?
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you have a PDF document, it's as easy as a Control F, but it's just like,
Otherwise, it's like, where the fuck
I mean,
is their name mentioned?
Fortunately, it's not too hard to look up things in Roll20, but it's just a matter of being like, what is there?
Yeah, knowing names. One thing that really bothered me about the Call of the Deep, other than the fact that there is no Roll20 module for it, so I had to come up with every map myself and populate them myself and everything like that.
Mhm.
But is the fact that, like, it took me looking at 3 different sources within the same module to figure out exactly what you could do with the Githyanki. It's just like, okay, I know they have a mission, and the mission takes them somewhere, and the mission gets more complicated, or you get more gifts if you do this thing with the mission, but this person is just, it's just like, where am I going?
It's all very tricky. So he kind of thinks for a second, and he kind of like squints his eyes, and you see him kind of go into his mind to try to remember what he's heard, and he just kind of rambles off a couple of things, and he's just like, flaming skulls, strange creatures that are more intelligent than they look.
The more weird stuff that he mentions, the wider Weird's smile gets.
Okay, so we're probably gonna need to table this for a little bit because that sounds really bad.
Yeah, and he kind of looks at you all again and goes, "You're going to need gear as well for the cold. It is
He just. So this house, where is it in relation to the village where the girl disappeared?
You are in it. The tent is the central piece of this encampment. You are in a house that is to the south, just down the hill from the encampment. So yeah, you are a hop, skip, and a jump away from the place where the girl went missing.
So I'm thinking, girl went missing, another pretty girl dies. These things might be related.
Hard to say.
Like, how old is the missing girl? Is she a little girl, or is she just
She's, you were told she is 7 years old. And the way...
Weird just kind of looks at this guy and he's like... He's wondering if the... He's gonna straight... How old was your sister?
She was similar in age to me. Give or take a few years. And just looking at him, he's
And you're like, what?
30,
10?
30s, 40s, somewhere. Well, appears to be. He is a elf variety, and anyone who knows anything about elves,
Yeah.
who fucking knows how old they are?
So he's like 9,000. Okay.
Who knows at this point? He's probably a couple hundred. So,
He just... Did your sister disappear before she died, or did she just...
no. I buried her.
Hmm. And this did not happen recently, or did
No.
it?
This has been... I've started to lose track of the time, but it has been a while now.
You see him just kind of thinking, and it's just like... One requires investigation, which is a big word. The other has monsters to fight.
I don't.
And you want to put them both on a table. What? Why are we using a table?
Gilly pats him on the shoulder. She's like, don't worry about it, buddy. We're gonna get around to it eventually, I promise.
Like Weird's trying to balance these things, and it's a little too much for his intelligence.
Yeah, in all honesty, Rapide's first interest is dealing with the kid. As soon as the kid's safe, then he's going to worry about other things.
Yeah, the kid's alive as far as we know. This isn't
Yeah.
very time constrictive what this guy's talking about, so we're gonna go handle the kid situation first, at least.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the longer we wait, the more she's gonna rot. Is there this spell? Do you know if it brings back all them parts or anything, or is she just gonna be like really, really ugly?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking the guy who's telling us about the ritual spell.
Okay. Something.
Like, she might be missing an arm, a couple of teeth, maybe some toes or something. Hell, she might be missing quite a bit of skin by the time we get her.
So basically, a skinned, partially unskinned version of Weirin.
Well. He just kind
He
of
just-
slowly shakes
Weird
his
looks
head.
at. Actually, Weird didn't hear you say that because he doesn't have to speak with animals yet. By the way, once I do get to speak with animals, Weird's just gonna haphazardly just talk, like activate it at different times, so he's gonna understand what Repeat's saying.
Oh boy.
You're going to hear Rapide call people bitch a lot because it's not an insult to him.
Mm.
But Casimir's gonna kind of just slowly shake his head in that unknown kind of way, like, I'm not sure. I just know there is something there that can restore her back to the way she was before I lost her.
Oh. Okay. Well,
Very little
we'll get.
known about the place.
I guess, according to my compatriots and our leader, and he looks over at Gilly,
Eye roll.
we'll get to it when we get to it.
I will attempt to prepare you some supplies. I've been meaning to get some, but
Is this how things work? We agree to do things, and people will be like, "Here, have this."
I don't
That's-
know.
He kind of-
I don't know people.
he gives a small chuckle in the best way a very haunted person can, which is almost a little creepy. Just kind of
Ha 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 ha.
and he kind of looks up at you and just like, generally, if people do things, they get things from others. It's simple trade of service and favors.
Weird's first lesson in commerce.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could you imagine Rapide wearing snowshoes?
That would be amazing.
That would
I'm
be
just
fun.
imagining dogs wearing
Yeah, you'd be doing the
mittens.
dog thing.
Oh yeah, the foot kick, like yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
Exactly that. But then he does kind of glance up, and Gilly, you follow his eye line up to the shelf that is off to the side on the opposite side of the table of the building, and you can just with your vague understanding of different things can tell, you don't know what they all are, but you can see that there is different iconography and symbology of what probably are religious things. And then he looks back down at you and says, "So you said you served someone. Who is this?"
I see that you yourself are a purveyor of belief.
In these times, you pray to anything that can answer and hope it actually does.
As you say that, we're just gonna look at him like, "What? You saying he's attracted to his sister? Are you a purveyor?"
Oh God.
Maybe we shouldn't help him. I don't.
You get a very confused look from Casimir.
I heard we're not supposed to help out purveyors. I mean,
That's not. No, that's not the right word. No.
sorry.
It is a
you-
great thing that Repeat cannot speak with anybody right now.
She just pats Weirin on the shoulder again. And she.
He's just looking back and forth like, wait, what?
Is
Should we restore this guy's sister?
It's a different word.
Huh.
She'll look at Casimir and she'll reach up and flick the raven feather that hangs from her earring. I'm a proud servant. That's the word, servant of the Raven Queen.
Guy has been rolling like shit since you arrived. He looks with intrigue, but there is not a familiarity to him. When you say Raven Queen, he's not directly familiar. He may have heard of it, but you don't see any like, oh, okay, that's so. And he just kind of gives a slow nod, like, I see. And she is with you in these lands.
That's the question, isn't it? I don't know. It's hard to connect with her here. Sometimes maybe, but most of the time I don't think so.
I understand that entirely.
But you got all these. How do you know about them? Can you get out?
No. I am passed down stories and old traditions.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And he kind of looks up at him and goes, "To be honest, I don't even know if half of them exist, actually."
I couldn't tell you. I only really know about mine. She's really all I've known since I woke up, so... Yeah. No, it's rough. It's rough to be religious in this place.
I imagine Sonia is giving a small nod, considering she attempted to do something before and did not work. But and he just kind of gives another nod and then more openly addresses the rest of the group now instead of just Gillian. Says, "Well, I will attempt to prepare. I will do what I can to get meaningful supplies, but with even my limited sway," and he kind of motions to himself. You know, he's a dusk elf. Even with my limited means, it may be tricky.
Understandable. We'll probably ask around about the what is the Amber Temple and try to get some more information so we know what we're heading into as best we can. But yeah, no, we'll be in touch.
Very well. I will look forward to hearing from you soon. This has been a...
So this is us learning about this serious side quest.
Yes. Yeah, you guys are learning about what you need to do to fulfill the Madame Eva prophecy, as it were. What has happened? I said... Jesus. Yeah, basically you're like, alright, cool dude, we'll be back. Yeah. I'm gonna roll another thing for him. Okay.
Sorry, it's just like, we'll do this thing for you another time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always roll for you, D, and I mean, you can use my luck.
But that's no fun.
This is true.
It's fun for them to be like, oh.
It's probably for the best because I just rolled a 9.
You rolled a 10. Don't feel too bad. For what? You don't know, but
Yeah.
But he just kind of nods and says, "Thank you for bringing even some semblance of hope."
Yeah, we try. Well, we should get going, guys. We got a kid to find. 2, actually, if you want to get technical. But I don't think that one's alive. It's fine. We'll find her.
Jesus. We gotta go find these children. One of them's probably not alive, but let's go find them. Jesus.
We gotta go find these children, and this corpse of a children, and this children of a corpse.
Children of the Corpse, that's a whole new sequel for the Children of the Corn movie I was not prepared for.
Good, it needs a better one than it got.
It's true. Alrighty, with that, we will close out the session with Rapide beginning to lead everyone back towards Vallaki on the scent for this missing child.
Yeah, back to town, just like I said.
Do you want me to roll a survival just to start us out with?
With the natural 20 you rolled initially for just catching the scent, that at least is leading you back in the right direction. We'll probably have to make some more rolls to see if you can discern, especially once you get into town where there's a lot more going on. It might be a little harder to follow said trail.
Yeah, I just rolled another net 20 when I was doing that, so...
Jesus.
I have incredible luck, and I don't know why.
It's very clear.
I think I'm stealing all of Johnny's luck.
There has to be a balance, I suppose.
Yeah. I think I'm stealing all of Johnny's luck when it comes to...
I've actually been rolling
rolls.
somewhat good this session.
Oh, have
Yeah.
you? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
actually,
good.
all of Weiren's rolls have been pretty decent, actually.
Now that you addressed
yeah.
it, you're never gonna roll well.
Yeah,
again.
that was never going to happen again.
That's true.
What
That's
can you
very
do?
True.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for playing my silly little session of very serious topics mixed with shenaniganery. Because that's what
We do what we can.
strive. That's what we strive for here in Strahd and in Barovia.
We do what we can. Sorry, I'm just remembering the Dungeons and Dragons comic that's actually really well written. And there's one scene in which the characters are going down in a mine, and they meet up with these monsters that said they're gonna eat them, and the rogue is just like, nope, and is running away.
Sounds about right.
Sorry.
Also,
reminds me of.
Just a side note. Am I going too hard with the shenanigans and the silliness?
I was literally just typing a note about that. No.
I will let you finish your note, and then I will build upon, probably. Thank you. Yeah, basically, like, so far, most of what you've done has either been harmless enough that it will, like the guard thing. At this moment, you're still just like a story that a couple of the guards are going to be like, what the fuck was that? Like, oh, I had that happen too. Like, it's going to be, at the moment, a ghost story. And then, the whole Rictavio thing, he was alerted early enough, and you actually managed. Catching it was not a bad thing, because you prevented it from getting too far into town and bringing more attention. So if anything, that actually saved you from having more issues arise. So for the moment, your shenanigans have been mostly kept under a decent wrap of, like, there's weird shit, but, like, it's kind of in rumor and minor stories, and not everyone's going to latch onto it right away.
I'm wondering what the story is going to be with those that witnessed the shark dog chasing a saber-toothed cat down the streets.
Like, there's a lot
I'm
of
wondering
people
what that's going to evolve into down the road.
Yeah. There's a game, if you guys haven't heard of it, where it's called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. And it's exactly that consequent, or that concept is the entire idea that a story can eventually grow and explode and turn into different things. Now the trick is if that story grows too much and too many people are aware of it, you will be garnering more attention and more likely to be instantly recognized sheerly because you match a description. So, like, you do have to be careful, because eventually people will catch on, and there will be problems, probably, because you are a known cause of chaos. So...
It would be funny to see a guard try to catch Rapide.
The trick is one guard made attempt, but what if all of them attempt?
Well,
that's where your trouble comes in.
Well, yes, but I mean, I'm talking about like the barreling through town, like what Sonya and Rapide did, of him just kind of, flash stepping into different areas, like catch me if you can.
So,
At the moment, that's just leading to the extra bit of, like, ghost wolf story that is kind of brewing. But you are slowly garnering more attention the more you do, so you just have to be a little careful with that, otherwise you may start having some issues.
I don't know if Rapide would actually be aware of that. He's trying to create a story for himself. So the fact of he's probably going to take it overboard. This is Rapide. We'll see how it goes.
These were the 2 pages I was talking about, where they just confront monsters that were sneaking up behind them, and then they say this one thing, and the rogue's just like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Nice. Nope.
It's actually a really well done comic. It's just called Dungeons and Dragons. It was from, like, I believe 2011. I have like 15 issues digitally, and it's just really, really well done. I would definitely recommend it if you get a chance to.
Noted. But yeah, so shenaniganery, but some serious darker tones that it's Strahd, so there's no avoiding them too much. I am, like I said, I'm tempering certain things to make sure that they're not too out there in the sense of like the different themes and stuff we talked about. I'm trying to make sure that I don't dive into any of those on accident.
Oh, you're talking about the red flags?
Yes.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
and so far, most of what has happened has been fairly on brand with what has happened. It's pretty spot on to what the book encouraged, but there is some stuff I'm just tweaking enough to give it a little bit of a spin. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That is that. So we will reconvene for next weekend for more D&D.